gonna give you a second clap, Malik.
Dude.
Or live again.
Oh, you're not gonna keep that?
Oh,
No.
Dude, you're gonna get my fat angle, bro. My quarantine
Fine,
gut.
dude. Yeah, make sure you get the sword angle there.
My quarantine
Oh
gut.
yeah.
Okay, so we're here, man. I need a shot to start this fucker off. We are here for the throne, episode 100.
Yo, double us, or triple us, so it sounds like there's a crowd in the room. The idiots at home will never
I'm not
notice.
doing that.
Add some delay to the clap.
Yeah,
So it sounds like.
The dumbasses listening will never notice.
I'll take a little bit.
That's Yo, but we got some special guests in the house, man. Straight from episode 4. I don't think you guys have been together on an episode since maybe the Super Show or whatever.
No, we've been on 3 episodes.
Not together. Dude.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think so.
The
There
Super
was
Show.
the first one. There was the first one.
The Super Show where you had
The dental dams, remember?
Yeah.
And we're like, you have that with you? And he's like, yeah, get the dental dams.
Episode
Number
4.
4.
I know.
You guys were the real
first guest.
first real band guest to show up because the first 3 were just our friends.
Well, no, Ralph was before us.
No, episode 1 and 2 were Vince and Alex, and then 3 was Lewis. I think.
We're cool with Lewis.
I thought Ralph went before us.
Yeah,
So
we
you
were.
guys are the first.
Yeah, I thought Ralph from here was one.
3 was Lewis or Ralph. I don't remember.
I think it was
I
Ralph.
think it was Ralph.
I
too.
remember
Yeah.
our conversation. It's like,
Oh yeah, it was
bro,
Ralph.
you think
It
they're
was.
I think it was Ralph.
Mekronium's gonna show up.
Because I remember Ralph had those the picture for Ralph he had those really crazy high tops, those basketball sneakers.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
No, but I remember that conversation. I remember me and Malik thinking dude, are these guys even gonna show up? You guys had this, crazy on stage personality.
Oh, and that gives you the idea that we're not going to show up? Cheers.
We just didn't know.
They already drank everything.
Well, I was looking at the camera.
Oh, we thought you guys were too cool for our shows at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Newsflash.
that's definitely how we felt.
We ain't shit.
Well, neither are we. Yeah.
Yo, which actually shout out to Ralph because he's hooked me up with 1,000 light tubes for me to kill more brain cells and inhale
and hell more fluorescent dust. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
I fucking love you, brother.
Oh man.
yo, I mean, just the crazy persona you guys had, and bashing yourself in the head and cutting yourself open, all that crazy shit, and you guys were dealing with that controversy or whatever with that billiards place at the time.
Oh,
yeah.
remember?
That was right after that.
We were almost fresh after that. It was when did
Pepperidge
that
Farm remembers?
yeah, dude. I guess
That guy's a rapist.
I guess it's safe
Christ.
to. What was the name of that spot, dude?
It's
It was in Coral Springs.
Yeah. They were called trash ass fucking
No.
garbage fuck.
Dude. Some
What that was where all those 70-year-old dudes that would beat their
It was like
wives
it
on
was
the
like a
reg,
billiards place.
Going to listen to
yeah, it was some
AC/DC.
pool spot, but regardless, man, you guys were dealing with that shit, and so
With
getting
suburban
to hear
bikers.
about that, and you
know.
you guys were cutting each other open and stuff, allegedly.
Yeah,
And,
right.
No, that's what. Yeah.
May or may not. This was
'Cause
the
we-
time, you guys gotta understand. This was pre-coronavirus.
According to Buddy, we were a health department hazard.
Dude, let
Yeah.
me.
His
Right,
words.
what the
You
fuck?
know what, dude? That's actually a perfect segue to this, man. I mean, the last time we had you guys on, the last time I really talked to you guys face to face was before this whole pandemic thing started going down. Maybe even the last time we saw each other was in February at Kryptonite.
Yeah, that's the last time I saw you.
For sure.
So
Yep.
it's now June, almost to the day. I think Kryptonite was June 15th or February 15th or some shit. Today,
Yeah, it was. It was the
Oh,
day after
wow, yeah.
Valentine's.
June 16th. So
No, it was.
yeah.
Was it the day after
After
Valentine's?
Valentine's, yeah.
It was, right? Because I remember I
It was
got
that
confused.
weekend.
I remember I got confused that I thought it was on Valentine's Day.
No.
So
that
you're
was
right.
the
You're
last
right.
show
Damn,
that we
dude.
all, that I
Fuck.
played at the very least.
Same
I don't
here.
know about you guys.
No, same here.
That's the last time we've also been in a room together.
That I
so
think is the last time that anybody will ever play live ever again.
Wow, it's
get a little bit closer to the mic, Joe.
It's a real story.
That is the last time that
They
anybody
heard it.
will
They
ever
heard
play.
it.
Oh,
I'm just saying, just for future reference.
that was the last time.
Was that rude for me to tell you they already heard it?
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Is that better? Is that better?
So going from now on, just I guess a question that just popped into my head: are you still gonna put on the same stage show that you did now in this fucking post-corona world?
Actually, grosser. I just recently found
that's Mekronium.
there's a house next to close to my house. They just threw out 4 tables.
Yeah, that's called a neighbor, Joe. There's a house close to my house, right next door, really adjacent, if you will.
No.
What do you call those? What do you call those? What do you call those?
The house is next to my house.
It's in my neighborhood. There's a house. There's a house in my neighborhood.
Where's a thesaurus when you need one?
Okay.
One of those next door people livers when you need one.
What do you call that? An asshole? Neighbor. That neighbor is a neighbor. I have a neighbor.
Anyway, go on.
Okay, so they're throwing out like 4 tables. I'm taking those. So let's just say
LHW style.
let's just say that there's gonna be some shit gonna happen at the next show.
TLC.
Oh yeah.
Oh jeez.
Powerbomb.
Hell. Oh no.
He's got a powerbomb through the table.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Yo, it's gonna be fun.
That's that thing is you guys get that heavy inspiration from like pro wrestling and shit.
From hardcore wrestling, pro wrestling, like the uprise in the '90s of hardcore wrestling.
Yeah. So are you gonna like basically incorporate more? Is what you're saying?
More
I don't
destruction.
think there's no reason not to continue the same shit.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. What? Because there's a pandemic
this
that's
is
being
why I'm
blown
asking
out of
that.
proportion.
You're 6 feet away.
Because extra people are
Yeah.
fucking weird about. I mean, what like
Like when it comes down to it, when
Well, like
when
the
we start,
cutting and shit, you know.
and what is that gonna do?
I was never.
No, I'm just asking.
Oh yeah,
bro.
yeah,
You're
no,
very
for sure,
hostile, Joe.
Well, because I'm a very aggressive person.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, no. So check this out.
Some say he's racist.
Yeah, put your cock out. Put your cock away,
You know?
Joe. Put it back.
Some people like to kiss
Well, now I
ass,
gotta-
then talk shit later.
Now I gotta pull.
You know?
Now I gotta pull my dick out because you called. You said I had it out. There's a camera that's recording.
This is
So
a Japanese camera, so you're gonna get some pixelation.
Oh no! Please no.
around the area.
Christ. The zipping is the zipper noise.
that was
And
it. That
hitting
was
the
it
table.
dropping on the
Hitting
table.
the table.
Trust me, it's not that I have a large dong. It's just I tripped.
Anyway,
Right.
what were we going about?
Yeah, dude. I don't think there's any reason to fucking change the stage show.
To change anything.
Because I feel that if you're gonna come out to like a Mecro show, man, I mean, you kind of have an idea of what it's about, kind of sort of really already.
Locals do. I mean,
And not just
people
that,
don't know
dude.
you do.
If we change the way that we do things, then we're just letting the terrorists win. Yo,
Figuratively.
9/11, never fucking forget. We stand together, proud as Americans.
You know, I wanna go deeper, man. I wanna go deeper, but we've already
bleed-
talked
do
about
you bleed
9/11
red,
so many
white, and
times
blue?
on this show with Joe.
Yo, 100th
I
episode.
swear, dude,
Joe,
you're my Alex
do you bleed
Jones.
red, white, and blue? You
I-
yourself?
I bleed red, white, and blue. Here you go. It just started fucking pouring.
Dude, how long do those scars last you? Are
The
those
scars,
They're
JC.
scars. Scars last forever.
That's a good. You know what, dude? That's such a dumb question.
Yeah.
How long do
Hey,
those
sh-
permanent bodily injuries last you? Forever, maybe?
Yeah, you know.
Hey, bro. So are those real tattoos you have? How long do they last?
Yeah. Oh, actually,
Well,
I mean,
lip
this is
tattoos go away, so fuck you.
But
Danny,
I
you
said
fuck.
I said real tattoos that you have.
this is
The
more.
lip tattoos are real tattoos.
Lip tattoos?
They're not real.
What are you talking about?
Like when people tattoo their lip, eventually it fades.
What, the inside?
Yeah, you never seen
No,
that
that's a
Yeah,
real
but that's
tattoo.
because
But it
of
goes
the.
away after a while.
It's called
What?
being stupid, man.
Well, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and tattooing the inside of your
I don't know,
lip.
bro. I don't tattoo the inside of my mouth.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I'm just
You're gonna
saying.
get an
fucking-
infection, dude, for sure.
That is the epitome of getting a tattoo for attention.
That's
Listen,
not
It's like for that, go in
I
the corner
have-
and suck some dick.
I have this weird thing where I don't like. It's not even a weird thing. I don't like getting tattoos where I can't see them.
Yeah.
Back tattoos, ass tattoos, back of the ball
Shouts
sack
out to
tattoos.
Andy from Ears One.
Ass tattoos.
Shout out to who?
Andy.
I don't. Yeah, he does.
He has
He's-
an ass tattoo.
He does have an ass tattoo.
An ass too.
Oh yeah.
Joe too, huh? What is? Oh wow.
Pornhub.com.
What an interesting thing to have tattooed on your ass. I hope the cameras caught that. We finally have video. There will be video of this on YouTube, people, if you're listening to the audio. You know, I don't know how long we're going to be doing it or how this is going to continue, but I'm working towards doing like a permanent video thing. It seems like everyone who has a podcast now has a fucking video element to it. They cut up clips and shit.
It's cool because it makes it transcends mediums, right? Or media, not medium. Medium wasn't the right
Both,
word.
yeah, it
but
does
it's
both.
I guess both, right? It transcends media and medium, where you get a radio show audibly, all of a sudden turns into a TV show.
Yeah.
When you have
Essentially.
because I love podcasts, dude. Like Joe Rogan's podcast, Tom Segura and his wife's podcast, Your Mom's House, all that shit. You know, Fighter and the Kid. They have video elements to their shit. So when you want to watch a clip, put it on the background on the TV, bro. Stream that shit while you go do shit. You get to watch.
Right.
You're not missing anything if you just hear it, but seeing it adds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Immersiveness.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It adds something to it, I think.
The
So I think it's a good
emotion,
idea.
Body movement, that shit.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm finally getting back into the normalcy of booking guests to come into studio. Cause,
Yeah.
you know, for a few weeks there, I was doing remote interviews. If you've been tuning in, and I do like doing it. It gives me the opportunity to interview people that I wouldn't be able to normally. But there's something different about having people in here face to face.
Let me ask you something real quick. Do you wear pants when you're doing the Zoom interviews?
Yeah. Yeah, it's stupid. I get dressed to do it, even though I know they're only going to see me from here.
He's
From
usually
what?
like,
Yeah, just fear.
And
like,
this
bro,
is why
why-
you need.
why is
This
there
is-
so much movement?
This is why you need video, bro, so you can catch
They're like,
shit
why
like
is there
this.
so much movement? He's like, I got a shaky cameras. There's an earthquake coming.
They're fracking outside my door. I'm about to frack right now.
Oh, God. Whoa. All you hear is,
You get that?
Like an almost empty ketchup bottle. Just yeah. And you just get the juicy ketchup, not the real ketchup.
have you ever, you know, a queef,
This is the
right?
ASMR episode edition
Jesus
of the.
Christ.
Is that ASMR? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Audio stimulatory.
Have you ever,
Yeah,
you,
whatever.
everybody knows what a queef is, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever
What is
forced
that?
air out of your urethra?
South
No.
Park.
I did that one time. Like, I was just fucking around one time. I was pushing, trying to push air out of my body.
And your dick farted.
And my dick went. Like, it literally, like, imagine, like, my dick had opened up and went. It was, yo, that hurt.
He has the anatomy of like a balloon snake. Your dick.
Do
Why
they
does
push
your
air
dick
out of
have
their
a
dick?
fucking balloon snake structure to it, dude?
You know what I thought would always be weird is that, like, you know, you get yourself a hard on, and you go to beat your dick.
Why are we?
But then your
why?
dick, you look down your dick, you're like, here it comes, right? You grab your lubricant of choice, and your dick's little like mouth is like, hey, stop. Just like, stop. You're like, what the fuck? Give me that sideways. Please stop.
He's like, your
Just
choice
like,
of pornography is a little
Little
disgusting.
pee-hole, like, stop.
I have so many friends that are gonna watch
Once you're
this.
done, you close that tab like.
Yeah. My
that's it,
dick
I'm
told
done.
me no. My dick said no.
Yo, and you close it with the most like the
most
most yeah, just disgust,
Yeah.
dude. Just
Has anybody else like finished masturbating? They close the tab like you said. You just kind of sit on the edge of your bed, kind of staring.
I hope no one looks
Maybe
at
you
my
put your
history.
hands into your face and you kind of just like feel like
right after
what's wrong
though.
with
You don't wash them, Joe.
No, straight to the face.
Cum in his hands, just goes.
Straight to the face. I'm just like, fuck. Dude, I've
What
had a
am
lot
I
of pink eye
doing?
recently.
Huh?
I've had a lot of pink eye recently. But that's usually because I milk my prostate while I
You gotta watch
masturbate.
out, man. They'll get you blind, man.
I'm
Hell
getting,
yeah.
I'm getting
Wow, you
fucking super banned off YouTube.
Is this going on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't say fuck and shit and bitch.
No.
But you can
No, you can
be
You can
sexual.
say
curse.
all of that, just not maybe not.
So
you know,
descriptive.
milking your
Hey,
prostate.
there's a checkbox
Hey,
that
milking your
says-
prostate.
Well, unless it's a
Just for kids.
tutorial.
we can't all talk
Yeah.
over each other tampoco. So
Oh,
Okay.
you know.
Just raise your hands.
Tampoco.
Yeah. Tampoco. You know, we got the Spanglish in there.
Tampico.
But what were you saying, Malik?
There's a checkbox that says for kids. Just don't check it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yo,
true.
no. This is
Did you
never,
get
this is
emails
never
for
gonna be
that?
kids. No.
I got an email for our Mekronium like YouTube asking like, "Oh, do you want to be part of the like the kids section or whatever?" Like, is your
Yes!
is your material child friendly? Yeah, is your material child friendly? I was like, "Oh no, no, I'm not trying to monetize shit anyway." So it's like I didn't even answer it.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is
Yeah.
stupid."
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how. Well, I guess I do. It's just the sheer volume of videos. They're not going to be able to have a human to check every single video that gets uploaded. But at the same time, it's like there was one point, you know, the Elsa Gate shit. You guys know
Dude,
about that?
yes, yeah. My kid fell victim to that.
What?
Fucked up. Yeah,
real?
the Elsa Gate. Yeah, dude. We had all right, so I guess
Yes, tell me. Tell the people.
I'm trying to recall. This is a couple years ago.
Yeah,
She
like
she must have been
2017,
3 or
that
4 when it happened. Yeah, my wife had like this rule where she didn't like her using a cell phone unsupervised. Because, you know, you can, if your kids are like, you're at a restaurant or like you're at a get together and it's not really like kid, you know what I mean, like aimed for children. Here, dude, watch a movie. Use Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And then, but be here. Like, don't go disappear with it. So, I mean, my mother-in-law's not going to hear this. My mother-in-law had a knack of giving her the phone and letting her go to the bedroom to watch it, right? My wife used to be like, stop, don't do that, please. You know, y'all know my Nat, you know, she's very motherly, and she's like, don't let her do that. Like, I want to see what she's watching. At least I want to be able to look at her and gauge her reaction to what she's looking at. Dude, so this happened 2 to 3 times with her clicking a link to a video that the thumbnail looked kid-appropriate, right? Super kid-appropriate, but the video topic is very, like, the content in the video is very fucking graphic. Here's the example, right? So then, this one particular time, I didn't know about Elsagate at this time. Again, like you said, 2016-ish. So we're at my mother-in-law's house in her apartment. She's cooking. Everybody's having a good time, drinks, whatever. And all of a sudden, the little one comes running out. And she's like, no, mommy, no, Peppa. Bro, pero lágrima, just like wrenched, like just tears. And we're like, what the fuck happened? And she's running out with the phone like this. You know, like holding it in front of her face. Like, no, Peppa. And we're like, what the fuck, dude? So Natasha grabs it, and because she's Mama Bird, you know? So she looks at it. She rewinds, she goes, babe, look at this shit. And I look, and it's...
Describe the video, please.
Dude, okay, so Peppa Pig...
Can I take a guess? Did the barbecue Peppa Pig?
You're close to it.
Oh, shit.
You're close to it. So the animation is almost spot on to what the cartoon looks like. Like, there's almost no... difference between
the animation is very trash to begin with, very simplistic.
It's super easy to replicate, right? Yeah, it's
like original South Park.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So then it's easy to do. So it looks authentic, right? But then you fuck, dude. It was like something happened to Peppa where she starts to view her parents as food because they're fucking pigs, right? So then Peppa will see her dad like as bacon, and she starts fantasizing about eating her dad or some shit. And then the cut scene cuts back to reality, and she has like a potato peeler, and she's taking slabs off her dad, off his arm, and he's like, Peppa, stop. And she's like, bacon. And as she's pulling the potato peeler back, the little strips of skin that are coming off turn into strips of bacon. And she's like, yoink, and eating them. But it's, you know, cartoon bloody and shit. She's fucking 4.
Oh, what
so
fuck?
And I'm like, what the fuck? So then my wife tears into her mom, being like, I fucking told you not to let her watch videos. What the fuck? And her mom's like, I didn't know. And she's like, what? You know, it was a big argument because I'm like, and you know, because the little one has no idea. So that was like, I go, dude, like from now on, like no fucking cell phones. For her, like no way. YouTube on its own has you have too much access to the.
I don't.
I don't like YouTube. You have too much access to the internet. So then the second one, right, wasn't as graphic, but it was weird, right, in the sense that like a big cue to look out for is when you have like cartoon characters that don't belong with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like Spider-Man and Elsa?
Spider-Man and a Disney cartoon.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, now makes sense because it's Marvel, Disney. We get that.
No, but those are weird videos where they're like sticking each other with needles and like
dude.
Shit.
Like, what does Mickey Mouse have to do with like the Hulk or Captain America? Like, or you know,
it's just kid characters.
That's it. Yeah, dude. It's just
to get them to click.
It's a collage of. It's a collage of, you know, cartoon characters, and it attracts kids because when you see all those your favorite superheroes and characters in a thumbnail, you'll be like, "Fuck yeah, dude, I fuck with that," and you click it. But then there's a pissing match, like literally, like there was one of where it had Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and some other fucking character. I can't fucking remember, but they're at a pool party. And it's about like, you know, oh, it's okay to pee in the pool. Here, everybody likes pee. And the kids are peeing in the pool. And you're like, and the kids are like, yay, pee. It's like a golden shower. You know, and shit like that. And like, it's really shitty animation. And you're like, as an adult, like a kid's like, oh my God, that's pee, that's gross. But you're like, dude.
Sick.
Dude, the thing is,
you know,
kids that just, they know, like monkey see, monkey do, man.
But here,
that's the problem.
But you know what it is, dude? It's fucking grooming them. That's the term. Grooming.
That's the problem with it.
You try to desensitize them to being pissed on.
Yeah, they observe that information. They think that's correct.
What? Dude, so then there was...
They don't know any better?
There was a whole... It was a Joe Rogan podcast that I heard in 2017, because this is like about a year later. And they talked... I forget... They were talking to... Joe Rogan's old producer, Brian Redban, was on the show.
Yeah.
And they were talking about ElsaGate. And I'm like, what the fuck is ElsaGate, dude? And then Brian Redban was like, no, dude, look into it. There's a whole fucking Reddit thread. Dude, r/ElsaGate. And it was just every example of videos and what to look out for, and even how the comments are like written in like a weird code where
it's
like
all pedos, right?
It is all pedos, dude. It's so do I send a link to my wife? I go, bro, like look at this shit. This is what Z was watching. And my wife was like, oh my God, we're terrible parents. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not our fault. Calm down. But my chick likes to kick herself in the ass. And I was like, no. Like, we just got to be real strict with the shit that she watches. And the same shit goes nowadays where you got these kids that are playing games like Roblox and all this stuff. Bro, you don't know who the fuck is like.
The fact that they can play online, you don't know who they're playing with.
Dude, it's an open chat thing, dude. You know, like where they could talk to each other and they could have fake parties. It's like The Sims, I guess, for kids. You know what I'm saying? But like, my kid has fun on it. She loves that shit. But at the same time, it's like you kind of like look over her shoulder, like, what the fuck you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm on a roller coaster in an amusement park. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But then, you know, you're always weary when she's like too quiet or she's like looking at you and you're like, what the fuck you doing? Like, what are you talking about over there? And then she'll be like, nothing. But then they're probably making fun of someone else. But it creeps you out. Like, it fucks with you as a parent where you're
for sure.
You're always like, I don't know, dude. It's sketchy. But yeah, that ElsaGate shit is so fucking... Weird. It's so pedo-y, bro. It's so weird.
The like version of it is basically parents making their kids act, and they're buying like these cool toys. And stuff or they're doing comedy sketch, but it's a bunch of kids and their parents look like idiots. Yeah, it's
extorting their kids pretty much. Not extorting
And it's it fucks with the kid's head, man, because they see the reaction of those kids and they think doing that as a kid, it's the right thing to do. And then, you see, like, behavior patterns going on. And,
oh, yeah, dude. I'll testify to that, dude, because the same shit happens with, it wasn't the Disney Channel. The Disney Channel tends to have, like, is it Disney, bro, or Nickelodeon? One of those two, bro. One of those two. I've definitely preferred Nickelodeon over Disney. So I'm going to say I think it's Disney's cartoons where there's these kids that seem to be level-headed and mature, and they always take initiative.
Right.
Where the adults are like the bumbling fucking idiots. So the kids are always sassing the adults.
Right.
Like, oh, Brian, and then Brian's like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a dumb parent. You know what I'm saying? So then the kiddo who, you're the authority figure in the picture, and you're like, hey, bro, don't do that. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And you're like, what do you mean, okay, whatever, bro? Hey, watch your goddamn mouth. Like, what? Don't talk like that. And okay. And they start emulating these characters that are on TV because because adults are represented as idiots that don't know what they're doing. It's up to the kids to figure everything out. So it puts the kids in a position of superiority, and the parent or adult figure, authority figure, right, in the show looks like fucking a dumb fuck, like a dumbass. I don't think
that's necessarily a new thing though, because you have Charlie Brown back in the day where all the adults would talk like nonsense.
But that's so different though.
Because
that was very different.
Because
you
know what
no.
Because subliminally, you know what that is.
Like
let's not all talk.
Sorry, subliminally, it's implying that like kids are never listening to adults. That everything an adult says is like, wah, 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 and you're like, yes, ma'am. Wah, 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 wah.
Well, isn't that kind of implying the same thing if you read between the lines?
No,
I didn't pick it up till I was an adult.
Think so?
No, I don't think so at all.
Why not?
I just think it's the main focus is on the kids. You notice how they don't even show the parents?
Right.
Or they don't show like the teacher or whatever.
They don't show their
They don't show any of them because the main focus is on the children. So you don't need them to have dialogue. And it's actually funnier. And it makes more sense that way because like they're just like, okay, cool. And then it moves back to the story with the kids.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I think
like they're not a main focus.
Yeah, and I think it implies...
Don't shit on fucking Peanuts.
No, I like Charlie Brown. I'm just saying, I didn't think that was a new concept, but that actually is a good point.
But I think that you're right in the sense to assume that because I didn't get it till I was older, where I realized that it just seemed like it was a way to mute out the adults. Kind of like to what you were saying, to piggyback off what you said, is that it's a way to mute out the adults where the adults aren't the focus. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, and then kids, like, you've heard it growing up. It's like it's like, oh, I'm trying to tell you what to do, but all you hear is wah, 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 wah. Like, I've been told that before by teachers and parents, and it's a reference to kids not listening to the adults.
Right.
You know? Right. But, dude, if you ever catch a glimpse of, like, the Disney Channel or, like, and you see the play of, you know, personalities, bro, it's fucking, it just makes the adults look dumb. And then the kids seem like these snappy, snazzy preteens, and it's to be emulated. Like that's, you know, that's what kids think. But it's not. It's not.
For real, the parents are garbage nowadays. Where are the Carl Winslows?
For real,
you know,
facts, bro. Or
the Danny
Uncle
Tanners.
Phil, dude.
Uncle Phil is the shit.
Uncle Phil was hard, bro.
He was the shit.
Episode where, where Will Smith and his dad came back and then he left them.
Bro,
and he
I just got goosebumps talking about it. My fucking hair stuck up.
That hug he gives him is powerful.
But he takes the hat off.
But you know what that was?
The nice touches, man.
But you know what that was? Will Smith really reacting.
Just authentic. Yeah.
That's why he's authentic, because Will Smith really did not have. Right? Yeah, his father walked out on him.
Right.
So all of that was. I'm goosebumping again, dude. Look at my hairs. He was reacting off script to what he really felt about a father figure leaving the picture, and then I forget his name, the actor, who plays
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil,
yeah,
dude. I forget his name. Great dude. Great voice, by the way, too.
Rest in peace.
Oh, he did pass away.
He was Shredder in all the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles cartoons.
Fuck
yeah, dude. He was, man. I forgot about that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he picked up on what was going on.
James Avery.
James Avery.
Yes.
James Avery.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, dude. He ended up like picking up on what Will was doing and like hugged him out. That's fucking heavy.
Yeah, it was such a good fucking scene. I remember watching
shows.
that as a kid and you know, not even resonating with the whole about like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, teach myself how to get girls and shave and stuff, because I was too young. I wasn't doing none of that shit.
Yeah.
But just resonating with the point of like, he can still live and be a man without having his father there. I don't know. It was just a strong episode. And yeah, you're right. Those don't exist anymore.
No, there used to be the parents used to, like, the kids used to be afraid of getting in trouble with the parents or making the parents feel bad. Nowadays, it's kind of just like, fuck them.
Like going back to the YouTube kids show stuff. Like I remember I saw one which is just the kid, they hid something from the dad. I don't know. Let's say car keys for the sake of the argument. And the dad was like pissed, but like funny pissed, like how dare you? You don't do that. And the kids were laughing and things like that. And they hide it somewhere else, and they keep on hiding it. That was like angry, but funny, angry.
And it becomes like a weird subplot to like the whole show.
At the end of the day, you know, the dad finds his stuff, and then he's like, okay, cool, I found it. Now let's play with Legos. So it doesn't show them the consequence of doing bad things. It's like everything that they see is just always correct.
It's completely excusable.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Because
everything's a joke. Everything's funny.
Because you've heard the saying of like, you know, when things get too sentimental. At least I've heard it. Like if you have a sentimental moment with somebody, like you're touchy feely with someone, you say like, "Hey, bro, easy. This isn't an after school special." You never heard that term?
I've never. If someone said that shit to me, bro, I'd probably stop fucking with.
You'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But
I'm being dead ass though. Like I'm saying, if I'm having like a serious talk with somebody about something that affected me or something like that,
and they shoot you down with that.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's just being a dick on their part. But I'm talking about the term itself. It being an after school special implies those shows like Full House, like Family Matters.
Yeah, remember the
where shit, Different Strokes,
where they got raped by where Dudley got raped by the fucking bike shop owner. No one remembers that.
No.
You didn't watch Different Strokes?
Does that really happen? Google that shit.
I didn't watch Different Strokes, man. I was born in '96.
I wasn't crazy about Different Strokes.
I'm so sorry.
Different Strokes, that's the one with...
There were like 2 hours of
Gary
time
Coleman,
where I used to... Yeah. Where I would watch... It was What's Happening Now, Different Strokes, Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son. Love Sanford and Son.
And...
that was good.
You probably love MASH too, you cracker.
I didn't like MASH. I didn't like MASH. MASH is so fucking boring.
Joe, you watch Golden Girls too?
No, I didn't.
I like Golden.
I didn't like those chicken head hoes.
Chicken head hoes?
I didn't like this.
There was that one.
I loved Red Fox, man.
Red Fox is hilarious.
Red Fox is a shit.
That guy was great.
Yo, man, shout out to Red Fox, bro.
Yeah, dude. But the whole term after school special implies, like,
you're right.
Those sentimental shows where like you learn
where they teach you a lesson.
You know, where like fucking Danny Tanner gets on, he goes, "Well, Michelle, this is why we can't do that,
and this is why you should wear a condom."
Of the guy from Don't Be a Menace, like message.
Yeah.
That's right.
The mailman.
Message. Oh shit, dude.
Man.
For some serious act going on.
Just getting beyond the message of it, like the whole world of child Hollywood is so creepy.
It's gross.
It's weird.
It's very
Yeah.
weird.
It's gross and unnecessary.
It's like,
But people,
like-
but it's little cash cows for people because it's like they can't.
the parents,
kids aren't
for
going to
sure.
take the money and turn around and go spend it.
they
I saw
can't
a
do it.
video,
No.
Like, I don't know, man. Like between 92 and 94, and Bruno Mars was there as a kid, as a 5-year-old. He was already called Bruno Mars.
What
That's not his real name, but he was already called Bruno Mars when he was 5 years old.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was on MTV.
You know that Alicia Keys appeared on one of the
Whoa.
episodes of the Cosby Show?
Yeah. I heard
She was
about
little.
that. Real little.
You know, I think that a few people, it's kind of funny to bring it up, to come full circle back to like Disney Channel, but Raven Simone, that chick was on the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
She was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Remember that shit? I used to watch
No.
that
Yeah,
shit.
that was a good show.
You never
too.
saw Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Yo,
No.
leave.
Yeah, but
Leave
we're
my
taking
own-
this is
leave
our
my own
podcast.
podcast.
This is our own. Yeah, dude, she was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. That was a fucking
That was a
dope
good ass show on Sundays.
Oh, fuck.
I used to watch that right before America's Funniest.
Did you
Home
like?
Videos.
Did you like It's a Different World or a Different
Yeah,
World?
yeah, Different World.
I love that
Dwayne.
one. Yeah, Dwayne with the
Dwayne-
glasses.
Hell
Fuck
yeah, dude.
that
That was
shit.
a shit.
Those were great shows.
Those were all good shows. It's all dead now.
It's all dead.
And then people watch it now and they're like, oh, that's corny. But you know what? It had a message. The shows were good. The shows were well put together. They had characters that you fucking gave a shit about.
There was a
but-
show I used to love watching, dude, on Saturday mornings, and it had to do with kids in a school in like Brooklyn, and it was called. Bro, I fucking forget it.
It was
But-
live action or
no,
a cartoon?
it was called like.
Was it cartoon or live
No,
action?
it was live action. Live action wasn't it? And it was like it would come up on Saturdays, and there was a dude. I think his name was Jamal. He's like a lanky, tall black dude he used to have his hair either braided in cornrows or with
Whoa,
a fro.
whoa.
And then, but he was cool as fuck. But he was in it, and it all dealt with inner city kids. But they had really good topics and it was Saturday morning, and it was called like
What channel was it on?
fucking can't remember, dude.
I don't know.
But he was dope as shit because like it like literally all dealt with like drug use, where they were like, oh, this is natural, and like, don't you understand that like most drugs are natural, like natural occurring, and you're like, well, what the fuck? You know, like they spoke about really inner
So
city
they
shit.
taught kids to do drugs? I'm confused.
No, dude, it was a really cool show. Fucking street guys or something like that. Hold on, give me that.
Shark.
Go ahead, man. Use
No,
the
not
internet.
Street Sharks, dude.
Street Sharks. You remember Street Sharks? Yo!
Awesome.
Street, yes.
I used to like hammer
Dude.
that, dude.
Dude, Street Sharks was the shit.
What the fuck is Street
Street
Sharks?
Sharks is a cartoon.
What?
Google it up. Google it up.
What the fuck is Street Sharks?
Yeah, what the
Don't
fuck
ask
is
me what Biker Mice from Mars is.
Huh?
Dude, the toys were cool as shit.
This has been the 100th episode of the Throne. See y'all later.
Street-
Yeah,
What
everybody
is
have a
it?
good one.
Everybody bye.
Street Sharks.
Let me see if I
That
recognize
was during
this.
the Ninja Turtle phase, where every fucking
Where
cartoon-
everything
Yo.
was an anthropomorphic.
Yeah, what do you guys
Oh, dude, that's
The toys were cool as fuck.
Hammerhead is my favorite one.
That was something that was made to make toys, pretty much. Just like everything in the 90s cartoon was.
You still like that?
It was still
Oh,
cool as
dude,
shit.
it was called City Guys. Was the name of that show?
What channel was it on?
I'll tell you right now, dude. Hold on, I had to Google this.
Yeah, does anybody remember Captain Planet?
Fuck yeah, dude.
I remember
Reason,
Captain.
Do you remember? Okay,
and-
do you remember the episode of Captain Planet
and
where
when
the
you
kid
look-
has AIDS and
And-
they make him seem like he's so terrible?
No.
Dude,
No,
and when-
no.
Look, and when you look at the cast, it's like they couldn't pick a more every single race, color, just to blend it all in. So they had story arcs.
Oh,
yeah,
oh
so
no,
like
I was about to say, where's the
City
Asian?
Guys,
But there
dude.
It goes right there, dude.
Cover all their
Yeah,
City
dude,
Guys.
That's Jamal dude, bottom
It's
right.
like Power Rangers. to
You were
me.
gonna call it Street Guys.
I was close. City Guys. Look, dude.
That is close.
Look, final episode was 2001. First was 97. It was NBC.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Time
look.
change.
Wesley Jonathan. He played, what's his name? Jamal Abdul,
Oh, he played a Muslim?
I guess. I don't know. He's a fucking dude. I
It
remember
was a
that.
Very,
I love-
type of show.
I-
you know?
Yeah,
I
of
couldn't-
course it was. It
I
was the
don't-
late 90s.
Wait, is this
Everything.
I'm
Touche.
surprised Jamal wasn't called Black Guy.
Touche.
That's fucked up, dude. Wait.
And they got
is this
Asian
streaming
chick
shit?
and,
That's
and
possible.
white
If
girl.
you notice,
5 seasons it was on.
That's fucking stupid.
90s culture was very experimental and wild, as far like people were just experimenting with things. And if you notice down to 2008, 2009, 2010,
I love how
until
he's
now,
getting drunker and drunker and drunker.
Let him
and
talk.
just-
Let him talk. I like what he said.
we were talking about how things were targeted to kids. For
He's our
action
Baba
figures.
Booey.
All these new movies that came out like in the last 5 years, like the Disney stuff, like The Lion King and all that stuff, they're remade just to resell kids for toys.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. There's no
You know,
other reason
everything-
for them to
everything
remake
that's
any of
censored
these.
now has a purpose. If you can sell toys, because
Yeah.
toys make money, that's it.
It's all about money.
Well, that's what a studio does, dude. Whenever the studio gets like some kind of because I watched, dude, there's a really cool YouTube channel called Joe Blow Movies or whatever.
Yes, I watched Joe Blow.
Fucking love Joe
I think
Blow.
I've come across him.
Oh, it's great, dude. Because it's they have like different quote unquote shows.
They say
segments.
like, what the fuck happened to?
Yeah,
this
what the
movie?
fuck happened to this
That's
movie?
my
What the
favorite-
fuck happened to
that's
this
my
actor? And it goes behind the scenes on the story behind the making of a movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like why it flopped or whatever?
Why it flopped, why it was so successful. You know what I mean?
Or why it
seen
was
that guy.
weird, like what happened during
how
the
it
making,
how
like,
it
if was a weird
affected like future movies.
Okay.
And they always talk about the same shit, dude, and how a lot of movies that are pitched, and I'll come full circle because it actually brought this up last weekend. Remind me about Terminator in case I forget and I digress. So, but they talked about how the first thing that a studio does is how of course they're going to invest money into a movie, right? So like, oh, you know, I guess they loan out money. Like, here's the budget for the film.
Okay. Kind of like what a studio does with an album.
Same shit.
Okay.
So then they go, they're like, okay, you got to hire this actor. Everything's taken into account. Salaries for actors, salaries for the staff, what they got to buy, what, you know.
How long it's gonna take,
paying for
shooting on
sites and permits and all that
location
shit.
and
Yeah, dude. Everything comes into account for when the studio gives up a budget.
Makes sense.
But the thing is that they're not looking, a lot of the times they're not looking for what the ticket sales are going to be. They're looking what they can make on the back end. Merchandising.
Yeah.
Toys and shit, right? I remember.
That happened with the George Clooney Batman.
Yeah, dude.
They made a fucking shitload of toys.
I bought them.
Yeah, I remember that shit too.
Yeah,
They
dude.
made a
That's
fuckload of.
costume.
sorry,
I had the
real quick.
automobile.
But they made a fuckload of toys.
I had the automobile.
They made a bunch of different toys,
I had the
and
Batmobile that lit up.
none of those vehicles or anything were even in the fucking movie, and some of them were shoehorned into the movie last minute.
Check this.
just because they were like,
'Cause it's
it needs to be relevant to
It's
the
marketable
movie.
to kids.
Exactly.
Check this out, dude, real fast. I had this talk with my wife about it because one of my favorite movies is Terminator and Alien. It's one of my favorite
was gonna
franchises.
say-
Fucking
I was
love
gonna talk about-
the Alien franchise.
They're making a new one, you know.
I fuck with Prometheus.
Ridley
I don't
Scott
give. I
smoked
fuck with
Prometheus
Alien
was
Covenant.
trash.
Fuck off. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
I don't get it.
it's
ain't
not
for
about
you.
getting it. It's just boring as
It ain't
shit.
for you.
Thank you.
It
Yeah,
ain't
man.
for
Come
you.
on, Alien.
so boring,
Alien
man.
is the shit.
It ain't for
Aliens
you.
is fucking awesome. Alien 3, I'll watch it. The rest of
Alien
them,
is trash.
the rest of them are just like,
Alien's
what?
classic.
You're gonna say Alien 3 is trash, but you're gonna be here like Prometheus,
It's an 80s.
blowing its fucking cock,
I like Prometheus.
fucking down your
No,
throat.
dude, I tried.
Do you think
Cheers.
Well, real quick, yo, real quick.
Prometheus thing?
But hold on, but before I miss my point here,
Hold up.
before I miss my point here, the point I was trying to make is that you have these movies like Alien, the whole franchise. Let's just go the whole franchise, and then you got the whole Terminator series. Even though I don't fuck with anything after Judgment Day, I just don't.
Wait. Judgment Day is which one?
The second one, the second one from
Oh, that's
Terminator.
the second one. That's right. That's right.
I only fuck with
I only
those.
know
I
it's
only fuck
Terminator
with the
2.
two. That's it.
Cheers, Joe.
T2.
So then, if you really think about it, those movies were movies. I mean, okay, the first Alien was Ridley Scott. The second Alien was James Cameron.
Oh, really?
The second Alien,
Yeah.
well, it's Aliens. The second Aliens was James Cameron. Terminator 1, I think was James Cameron too, and so was T2. T2 was him, James Cameron also. Great movie. The guy is notorious for being a fucking ruthless director. He's boss as fuck, dude. James Cameron, you can't fuck with that
Look
guy.
at his movies.
His movies, if
Speak
it's
for
They
themselves.
speak exactly.
dude, there's so many accounts of him being one of the hard, and I don't mean hard as difficult to work with, but he's just such a hard ass when it comes to his vision and what he wants, that he pushes his actors to that limit. But that's why he gets such good performances, because he demands so much of them. So the point I'm trying to make is that these movies that were directed by a great director, and they're great fucking movies that still hold to this day. I watched Terminator last fucking weekend, dude. I had a fucking ball. I showed my kid the movie. I go, let's watch it together. And she's like 9. But I go, let's watch Terminator, dude. I go, let's watch Alien, because she knows I love Alien.
Do you have Alien?
I rented that shit.
Oh, because
But-
I've been wanting to watch it, but
I
I
want-
want to fucking
I-
pay like $20.
But I went to a Blockbuster and I rented it.
God damn, you guys remember torrenting movies?
No, hold on. So
Yes.
yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
I
man.
still do that.
What happened to
I
fucking
don't do
torrenting?
that. Wink, wink.
Don't
Oh,
say
shit.
wink, wink. Just wink.
But he's wearing glasses.
You're here.
dude.
He's wearing sunglasses.
So the point I'm trying to make is that these movies, right, were all rated R movies, meaning adult-themed movies
But you're
with
still
adult. But
showing them to kids.
how
is what
many
you're saying?
fucking toys of Alien and Terminator had existed out in the world at that time?
There was a
And
cartoon too, wasn't
There
there?
was an alien.
Predator, Alien, I don't know.
Yeah, but there was Alien versus Predator comics and Alien comics and shit to market to kids. When initially the idea was conceptualized for an adult audience.
Wait, what were the comics for kids? Comics are for adults as well.
I'm just saying, dude. But a kid can walk in and grab a graphic novel.
Yeah, I've never
had,
had
and get it. But they had
anyone
toys,
tell
dude. They had
somebody they
Terminator. I remember because I had a Terminator fucking car. He never drove a fucking car.
Oh, of course. Everything is
a rocket launcher. I'm like,
they make toys.
It never happened.
They do make because they make the toys to sell.
Of course, but the studio was like, oh shit, well we can make money on the back end off of this.
Dude, one of my favorite things growing up.
An adult movie.
That's why we're still seeing Terminator movies now.
Some of my favorite toys growing up.
DLC and Gears of War 5,
Mortal
dude.
Kombat, Terminator's there. Teenagers play that. Kids, same thing. They do the DLC for Arnold Schwarzenegger and MK, the latest one.
Yeah,
So
but that's like
video games.
that's
toys,
Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger from like Terminator 2. A better example of that would be, like I said, the Gears 5 shit, where they literally have Sarah Connor in it from the latest Terminator movie. The one that came out like in like
bother
2019.
watching it.
No,
dude, I heard
of course not.
so many
garbage.
shitty reviews because I read because I'll watch a movie. If I like a franchise, like an Alien, like the Alien franchise, if I like the movie enough, right, like I'll watch whatever comes out of it. Like Alien 3, yeah, it was garbage. Alien Resurrection was such a fucking joke, but I watched it regardless. And then, Prometheus and Covenant, whatever. I watched it.
Oh, Covenant was fucking terrible.
Whatever, dude. I enjoyed them because I'm a fan of that. Like, that's just my jam. Was it a good movie? Probably not.
No,
but I enjoyed it.
It was not.
I enjoyed seeing it.
Not at all.
Just when it expands the lore.
Just the origin. I like watching it to watch it. But Terminator fucking breaks my heart because you had Terminator 2, right? Then you had Terminator Genesis. And then what came after Genesis with the girl Terminator? Then you had
Christian Bale.
I think that was just like
Terminator,
the trope.
which I like that one.
I like that one.
Salvation was awesome because chronologically it
one.
felt like it fell into what happened after.
It's the future,
Yeah, well, it's chronologically it happens.
You said there was a girl Terminator?
Yeah, in part 3, in T3.
So why was that a thing that always happened back in the day? Like,
what do you mean?
Even Karate Kid, dude. Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2, and then Karate Kid like 4 or some shit as a chick.
One word. Diversity.
Yeah,
Diversity.
It's very true.
Yeah, dude. So like
It's all marketing. Dude.
Yeah, dude.
Day.
Yeah.
If I get a little girl or a teenager to like my movie because I have a girl main character, you win.
And then
Yeah,
they have
that's
Problem
it.
Child, and then Problem Child 2 with the little girl who was like a bigger little bitch than he was.
No,
Oh,
Problem
Lord.
Child 2 was not with the little girl. It was with the main kid.
No, but the little girl was like always like
She was another
throwing
character.
a wrench into his shit.
She was a character within the movie.
but she
yes.
was like worse than him. Like she would always like
She was a
one up
bitch.
him and shit. Yeah.
Like one thing you see these days, nothing against it, but like video games, main characters are female characters now.
Yeah.
In most video games compared to like.
You know what?
10 years
I
ago,
don't see a problem with that. What I see a problem with is
when
like,
it's forced in your face.
It's forced in your
When it's
face, and
forced.
it's like taking. What I have a problem with is when you take characters just for the fuck of it and you make them something else,
Right.
Because it was something.
Right.
Like, have you guys heard of the Last of Us 2 spoilers?
Love it.
Love it.
Love that game.
Spoilers.
No.
Hey.
Love that game.
No. You play Last of Us 1, right?
Yes.
But
Love
have
it.
you? And Last of Us 2 comes out this week.
Okay.
Are you gonna get it?
Spoilers already came out for what happens.
If you don't like what's about to be told, tune out right now. Fast forward. What are the spoilers? I'm that guy. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
We'll give you,
No, I'm
we'll
not
give you
gonna-
5 seconds.
Hold on. I'm that guy. I hate.
Okay.
I hate
let
when
me
you have.
give you-
Hold
let
on.
me
I
give
hate
you
when
some
you have these
more-
assholes that are like, "Dude, don't tell me the movie. Don't tell me the movie. Don't tell me. I don't want to know the ending." I'm the asshole that's like, "Fucking, what happens?"
Okay,
I don't
so-
even want to wait because then I don't pay
The thing
$40.
about spoilers, man, like sure,
Or-
there's spoilers, but you don't know what happens in between the spoilers. That's what matters.
Just listen to this shit.
I'll still,
Because
but I'll
first
still
of all,
play it for that reason.
because first of all,
how did everything unfold?
you never even played the original Last of Us.
Oh, you talking
You
shit?
never
joining
owned a
bandwagon,
PlayStation
bro.
3.
I'm joining you guys.
Never owned a PS4. But I'm just giving the crowd context. I'm giving the crowd context.
I'm trying to hype this up.
Wait, just wait. Just let me get my point across. Okay, so you've never played it, right? So you have no stakes as far as like whether I spoil it or not. So
I
you're
don't
okay
give
with
a
me spoiling,
fuck.
right? Okay. You don't look like you play video games.
I play Grand Theft Auto.
Of course you do.
Number
Yeah,
three.
you're that guy that just obsesses over fucking the hookers and then running them over with your car and taking your
I don't
money
even
back.
fuck them anymore.
Dude,
I just kill them.
I like to unlock the
Like,
whole island.
it's gone to
and
the point.
just fuck
It's
shit
gone to the
up.
point. It's gone to the point where I don't even need to fuck them anymore. I just jack off while killing them.
Okay, so let me get this not get distracted anymore. You'll be able to do that in Super HD next gen, bro. So.
All right.
Dude, I already do it. I already do it in first
So
person.
Last of Us spoilers. If you do not, Last of Us 2
JC,
spoilers.
You haven't played the game. Are you okay with this?
I'm okay with that. I already know what happens.
Are you still gonna buy the game?
I don't have a PS4 at the moment, and honestly, with these
I don't
spoilers,
got a
dude,
PS4 either.
I'm not gonna. Let me just tell you. So,
Let it run.
if you don't want to hear about Last of Us 2 spoilers, tune out. Go to a farther timestamp. Hopefully, you don't land on right when I say some crazy shit. So,
And
listen,
then she dies.
this is what's gonna happen. This is
head cut off.
let me give you the backstory.
Okay.
Apparently, this got out because devs working on the game.
Devs who?
Developers
Oh,
working on the game.
I'm
Devs.
like,
Is
who
that what the
fuck
kids
is
are doing
Devs, dude?
nowadays?
I'm like, who the fuck is Devs, dude?
Def Johnson, bro. You don't know about it?
Is that how
the
the
legendary Devs Johnson.
is
Dude.
that how the urban youth speak on the streets
No,
nowadays?
no. So the game developers aren't happy. Well, these are rumors. Allegedly, aren't happy with the direction the game is going, and
Oh,
they're not happy
wow.
with Naughty Dog right now. So somehow
Yeah, I saw
someone's
that
leaked.
sticker on your.
I
your
was a
laptop.
huge fan of the first Last of Us. It's my favorite game of all time.
The gameplay is.
Until
I
Red
don't think
Dead
I've ever
Redemption
had-
2 came out. Now Red Dead 2 is my favorite game.
Oh, yeah?
That game is phenomenal.
Okay.
Dude. If
Well,
you haven't played it, play it.
Let's focus.
So this is how these leaks got out. They're saying that it was a developer who put out the full cutscenes, like full cutscenes that people saw of the game. It's not rumors. It's not they saw the script. They saw the cutscene. They saw it play out. I personally haven't seen these, but I've read people describing what the cutscenes have in them. And basically, at some point in the game, the one of the protagonists of the game is a transsexual.
What?
Is a transsexual person, right? So at some point, she doesn't fuck with Ellie or Joe for some reason. Joel, Joe, Ellie or Joel for some reason. So at one point, this transsexual character kills Joel by beating him to death with like a golf club or some shit.
I don't even play
And
the
that's like
game.
halfway
I'm
through the
so
game.
fucking mad.
But wait,
And then-
is
and
it transgendered from male to female or
supposedly-
from female to male?
Supposedly, after a
Don't worry
certain
about it,
point,
Joe.
after
Okay,
a certain
touche,
point,
touche.
shut the
You're
fuck up.
transsexual.
After a certain point, you play as this transsexual character to go and kill Ellie.
No.
That's what I heard
No.
happens in Last of Us 2 because apparently it's like violence begets violence or whatever, and Joel killed all these people to save Ellie at first, and now it's coming to bite him in the ass. Some shit like that. Now, I haven't seen the cutscenes, but
So-
this is what I heard Last of Us 2 is about. Now, that, I don't know about you, but after playing the first game and getting so invested in the character of
Because you
Joel,
do get invested in Joel,
and you think he dies already.
Yeah, and there's a
When
lot.
he
There's
falls
a there's
through
a
the rebar.
there's a lot of rumors. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that he does fall through the rebar. That's right. The ending.
And then you start playing as Ellie, you assume he's
Can
dead.
I say something?
Yeah.
What?
And they're saying they're mad because it's like this shoehorning some SJW bullshit into the
Dude!
game.
Let me say something. Let me say
But
something.
hold on.
Let me
Hold
say
on.
Let him get his thought
something.
across. Go ahead, Joe.
Please. Okay, so why in the fuck
Why?
does it matter the sexuality or whatever the fuck this person wants to think in their head
I don't know
that
why,
they
man.
are? What does that have to do with the story? Do
If
you
they make
do,
it
does
fit,
does this
that's one
Joel
thing.
does this Joel character come in and say I am a straight man? And does Ellie say, or I would imagine as a female, say I am a straight female?
Careful with
Like,
the spillage.
Do they say that beforehand?
I don't
How do
know,
you know
man.
that this character is a transgender?
Like, I
do
don't
they
know
do
how-
they pull their pants down? You see their genitals and you.
It's a
and-
sequel that hasn't come out yet, Joe, so I can't
that's-
answer these
that's-
Well,
questions
like, what is
for
the-
you.
what is
So
the-
the
what- I don't
developers
understand,
the
though.
developers didn't
Like,
like that.
what- how
That's
do you
where that
know-
was going.
Supposedly, that's how they're saying the leaks got out.
Bro, that's so fucking annoying,
Well, how do you know that it's
dude.
a transgender person?
Because I-
What
because
does
I
that
remember-
matter, and why does that
Who
even?
cares
Why is
who
that
it
even?
is, exactly.
That's why. Why does
God,
that
dude.
even matter?
Because I
Zombie
remember,
apocalypse.
I
Who
remember
cares?
there was a lot of
exactly right. Isn't that like?
that there was a lot of speculation regarding like the
Back to
first
the-
teaser trailer, right, where Ellie's playing the guitar. Remember that shit?
Yes, it looks so
and,
good.
and it looks great. And she's playing the guitar, and then he like you hear Joe go like, "What are you doing, baby girl?" Dude, like goosebumping again, dude. Because and a lot of theories were saying that Joel is dead, and it's like Ellie seeing his vision because the virus that she is immune to is fucking with her.
Yo, I'm on The Last of Us 2, and the banner picture is Joel's head on a golf tee.
Wow.
Oh, man.
It's like,
Let me see that,
like, we don't care if we have spoilers. That's what that is.
Oh, man.
All right, let me read the new TLOU plot leaks. Most of what you heard is false.
For those watching in video, the image will be posted on the video for a few seconds. So we warn you guys about the spoilers. So don't say anything in the comments.
The game begins with you playing as Joel during the patrol missions. Tommy and Joel kill a group of fireflies. Tommy's his brother.
What is the flashback then?
Yeah, this is a dude on Reddit who says he's played the game. Tommy leaves the room. Flashback sequence begins where he's teaching Ellie how to play the guitar. Blah blah. Okay, you'll spend the next 3 hours building a relationship with some bitch named Dina. Go on a patrol, whatever. This is where I give the real prop leak.
That's
okay.
so forced, happy ending. Like they did that shit on purpose to not get bad reviews.
So
Okay. What the leakers do not disclose are the importance of the Seraphites because they did not play the game. Ellie must cross the Seraphite territory, and they will mistake her as one of the something, aka wolves. I guess like one of the other like factions.
Yeah.
Ellie will be captured and escape. You attempt to rescue Jesse, but he dies shortly after. Jesse and Gino will continue their. Abby is this transsexual person, I think.
Abby, that's not even a
you
creative
will switch
name.
to Abby right before she fights Ellie. You do not play as Abby halfway through the game. You will only be her for 4 out of 6 of the remaining hours of the game. Her chapters are much shorter than Ellie's. If you wanted to kill Ellie, she would have done it right after she killed Joel. But okay, so it's confirmed.
No, JC.
Someone named Abby
But
kills Joel.
how do you know that Abby is a transsexual?
I don't know how they.
JC, let me ask you. As you said that was your second best game. Let's say you will play this game and find out without spoilers that this will happen. Do you will enjoy this game? You know what I'm saying?
If that is what happens.
If you never knew about the spoilers and you're paying it, that's what happens.
Okay, so the whole thing about Abby, this character that kills Joel, being transgender is rumored right now. So I can't confirm.
I hope they
fucking
listen. Look,
they could change it last minute.
My thing.
I don't think they could because a game like this they do so much motion capture that to sit there and redo the
actors
scenes.
have to act everything out.
Yeah,
it's not something they could just fuck off and fix in editing.
So
you know.
disappointing. But look,
But
man,
what did they have to fix in editing? Add a bulge or something?
No, I don't know. I keep forgetting who I'm talking to.
You know what the annoying thing about
heard him a
shit
lot
like that
today.
is? To go back to the whole being forced upon is like we just named 2 really good movie franchises, Alien and Terminator. And what those 2 have in common are 2 main female characters that
Are badass.
Are badasses.
Right.
Ripley, right? Ellen Ripley. Ellen Ripley, is that her name?
Yeah, Ripley
Ellen
and-
Ripley. And then you have Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor was just was like a ditzy waitress. She's like, oh, I don't know. This crazy motherfucker.
She was a mother that wanted to fucking protect her kids and do what she needed to do to
But you know what?
herself.
She started from being a waitress who was a nobody. This fucking guy a crazy guy claiming to be from the future, saying how her future son's supposed to be like the savior of mankind. Come with me, like I gotta protect you. And she has no fucking clue what the fuck is happening. And then by the end of the series, in Terminator 2, the very next movie, she's a fucking hardcore badass doing pull-ups because she's getting ready for an impending apocalypse. Dude, it's like a coming of age where it's not forced upon you. She was put in a position where she had to fucking pull her britches up.
Because
right?
never once during the trailers or during the promotional was it like forcing it down your fucking throat.
Of course.
Because I don't feel like it's ever been like that, and I don't feel like it should be like that, where you're forcing.
Hold on. Let me see.
Same shit,
I think
but
it's
hold
one
on.
word too.
Same shit.
Character development.
No, dude, that's
Character
forced.
development. No,
But that's so
because if you
forced. Real character development happens
first
because a
movie,
person's put in a situation that they've never been put in, and then they overcome it. That to me is character.
Sarah Connor.
Like Sarah Connor,
Yeah.
like Ripley. Ripley was. I don't know what the Nostromo's, the ship that she's on in the first movie. I think they're like I don't know if they're a mining or like I think they're like a freight ship. They're moving. They're like the space UPS, dude. They're moving goods across space and time. And her crew lands on a planet because it's like some kind of code where like you have, if you're like I think it's the same shit when it comes to ships, like on sea. When you get a distress call, it's law that you got to go and seek out that distress call, right? It's like the law of the water, or the ocean, or whatever. So I guess they did the same shit, and the distress signal leads them to this planet, LB24, whatever the fuck it's called. But they go there, they catch her an alien. One of the guys gets the face hugger. They take it back to the ship to try to heal him. Face hugger dies. Alien chest burst, action sequence, whatever. And then her whole crew, aside from her and the cat, get killed, and she somehow defeats an alien because she has no choice. It's kill or be killed.
Was it 1 or 2 where she's protecting a little girl?
That's 2.
2, okay.
But that's even another cool part because she has experience with killing an alien. They want her. They find her floating 50 years later in space. She doesn't know that the fucking Whaling Corp wants to get her. Her knowledge, they want to use her to capture an alien. Long story short, she ends up fighting the queen alien. Because, but it's
Spoiler alert.
It's dude, it's old. If you're an asshole listening to this and you're like, wait, she fights the queen, motherfucker, too late, bro.
It was the
too
joke.
Late.
That was the fucking joke.
Because there'd be some guy. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, for
Fuck
sure.
off. Listen, but that's the point.
And I'm
is
planning
that
to.
It took 2 movies, and you see her adjust. And she in the second movie she becomes a mother figure to this kid. You know what I'm saying? And she protects.
Yeah.
It's like 2 mothers. It's Ripley protecting the young girl, and then it's the queen alien protecting her offspring, the eggs.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird mother against mom, maternity war.
That's another thing. Well, you know why?
It's not forced, though.
No,
Exactly.
it's
the
all
point.
it's
But
all
you-
natural and it's natural occurring. Like
Naturally
she knows what she's gone through already, and she sees this little girl, and she goes, "Fuck, I need to go back," and she needs to go back
Yep.
in and save her.
This girl survived, and she says that in the movie.
To her idea.
Yeah, there's so much writing. She knows that she can die, but she goes back anyways, and you're on edge the whole time.
And
you watch a movie now where they have this Wayman, hear me roar character, and it's like the whole time you're just like, okay,
You want
so predictable.
You want it.
So predictable. You know what's gonna happen.
They're the ones that
There's
Twitter
no
hate.
there's no
That's
stakes.
the truth. They don't want that Twitter hate. They
No.
put this character OP as fuck.
Well, they do that. They do that because they get all the love, they get all the money, they get all the fucking brownie points.
And on the end, in the end of
You
the
know
day,
what movie
you
I
can
started to
sell
realize that in?
merchandise.
Like
Sorry,
nowadays, now
Talking
in
over
this
everybody.
this month, right now, you have all these companies fucking pandering to all our gay and lesbian brothers and sisters because that's what they care about. They care about the money, and they're doing it. It's patronizing, and they patronize us as well.
Yeah, I
they
think it's a
patronize
little
us with
weird
dumb
that
shit.
Every year, Nike drops some rainbow shoes in June
Yeah.
to sell, and it's like everyone's kind of on board, and it's kind of like something like making a joke is something that people seem or find real offensive, but
Yeah.
like being marketed to is something that people don't find offensive, and like I don't know, being marketed to in a way like that where it's like, okay, well, you're
being
clearly
pandered
just
to.
pandering. Like right now with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, it's like
Yeah.
all
All of a
these
sudden, like,
NFL
they-
coaches
we
and stuff,
should sign
we
him
were
again.
wrong.
Yeah.
We should. So it'd be cool if someone signed them. It's like, well, great that you're saying that now when the whole country kind of agrees with that sentiment versus when he was actually doing it and y'all are saying you were wrong is when it
And
really would have made a difference for you to say that.
And you know what? That I used to shit on Colin Kaepernick
Me
big
too,
time.
man.
I used to shit on him.
I fell
But-
fooled to that narrative that he was a shitty player and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
carried
Was he
teams.
not though?
He carried a team to the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah.
He carried the 49ers, who
I-
hadn't done dick since Jerry Rice, to the Super Bowl.
I used
I
to.
don't know. I don't know
didn't-
shit about football.
I started watching football 3 years ago,
listen,
so I didn't know shit at the time either.
I used to shit on him big time, right? And then it wasn't until I heard in a podcast that because there was like the whole thing where he did like the training camp, whatever,
Yeah, that was such a
and then
shit
and then
show.
he moved
Yeah,
it.
but that was a publicity stunt.
and everybody was like, "Oh, it's a publicity stunt. Oh, it's all this and that and whatever." But then what it I think I'm gonna fuck this up, dude. So anybody out there, I'm sorry, bro. I'm not a sports fan. I just hearsay.
I got it.
But what I ended up finding out later was that it ended up being that like the contract that he was gonna sign for the initial place that he was gonna do the training camp, they wanted to own like some percentage of whatever the fuck he had going on.
I'll tell you what it was.
It was like a very limited contract where he would be like basically like squared in to like a shitty contract.
They didn't want him to have his own camera people. They wanted.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, what it was.
It was something fucked up, dude. Where they didn't want him to have as much quote unquote freedom. And he was like, "Oh, that's well, fucking, I'm moving it." And then that's when he moved it to like last minute or some shit. But then it looked super like, "Oh, what a fucking diva, dude!" Like everybody showed up there, but then he wanted to.
Well, that's how they
thought it was a power play, and I shot at him for it too. I go, "Oh, well, this fucking faggot, bro." No,
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Pull the website.
No, it's okay. It's okay. He can say that.
No. Pull the episode. I go. What a fucking pussy. What a fuck. I go. What a fucking fag. Like, why would he do that? That's such a diva prissy move. Oh well, I want it over here now, you know. But then later it was. I'm like, when I found that out, I go, oh, well, that's just showing how big your dick is. Oh, well, you want this contract? Well, I don't agree. Peace. And then he moved it somewhere else. And fuck them for springing that, because I'm sure they timed it to where it's like, oh, it's an hour before the start. Here, sign this real quick. And he's like,
well, the
no.
thing is, the way they notified him about
I
it
fucking regret shitting on him, is what I'm saying. I regret shitting because I did, but ignorantly I shat on him.
Right.
And I shouldn't have.
And it's hard when that's the narrative that's being put out there. But the truth of the matter is, it was just one of those things where they wanted to have access to the footage, and what he felt was that what they actually sent out to teams would be edited however they wanted to edit.
Yep, that's what it was. You're right.
So that's why he didn't feel like he signed it. But the NFL's excuse was, oh, well, this is like the same kind of NDA or whatever that we give everyone who we give a tryout to. But it's just also unprecedented. You've never had someone do this kind of protest and shit, and it's clear that the owners were in cahoots into not hiring him again. I mean, because they were hiring quarterbacks that were like retired for 3, 4, 5 years at the time when Colin had just retired.
Right.
And they're like, no, we'll bring in Jay Cutler for like the 16th team or whatever. And it made no sense.
I think it was Donnell Rawlings, great comedian.
Donnell Rawlings, hilarious.
He's great. But he brought up, I think it was on Whitney Cummings' podcast or something. I could have
like Whitney Cummings.
Huh?
Fuck that bitch.
I don't like. I'm not crazy about her either. But
she's a cunt.
Cheers to fuck Whitney Cummings.
Yeah. She's a fucking terrible, stupid ass fucking wannabe comedian. Peace. I just farted. I think I shit myself.
I think it was on her podcast where he brought it up. It could have been someone else. I could be wrong, but I tend to listen to Whitney Cummings' podcast when it's a good guest. Like she had Dave Grohl on.
Okay, I can't ever hate on Dave Grohl.
She had Dak.
Dave Grohl, come on the show.
She had
fuck yeah.
She had Dak Shepard. She had Dak Shepard. That was a great podcast with Dak Shepard. So I'll listen to her podcast when it's someone that I'm interested in listening to talking.
Yeah.
Donald Rice is one of those cats that's like he's like super street, super fucking funny, witty, doesn't give a fuck what to say. So I'll listen to him. But I don't know if it was him, but he talked about how it was fucked. You know what? I think it was him, and I'll tell you why. Because it was. My mind's running 100 miles an hour. I think I just had deja vu. I might fart. Anyways, so he goes. So he talked about how that whole thing was happening, but Kaepernick didn't feel comfortable doing it, and he doesn't blame him because I think it's like, what was it that the NFL is like 90% owned by white people, and there's like one dude who's black that owns a team or some shit like that.
But why isn't that accurate? Seriously though, why is that something that's like blown up and made
because public, the NFL shat on him?
Well, I think it's kind of weird.
But
when you're
making.
I'm not making.
You're doing the same
Don't
problem.
yell at me.
You're part of the same problem as the media, where instead of man gets fucking killed by idiot ass police officer, it's black man, white man.
Oh, we're going there now.
But
I'm just saying, like that's
if you really want to go deep,
is. You fucking.
I learned this rabbit hole. If you really want to go deep, then we got to open this rabbit hole, and you got to think.
The point I'm trying to make is that Kaepernick already experienced shit, like shit being given to him by the NFL, from the NFL, by NFL owners. A lot of people saying, hey, dude, you should just fucking stand. Like, don't kneel, don't disrespect. He got a lot of shit, bro. I was one of those people that give him shit, and I hated the fact that I give him shit. I don't like the fact that I give him shit. However, these same people were giving him a chance to, hey, man, get back in it. Here's a training camp. But he saw it as an opportunity for them to fuck him over. and he didn't want that.
Right.
And I don't blame him for seeing these people go, well, they tried to fuck me earlier, a couple years ago. Don't want to be in the same position.
There's
fuck this, I'm moving.
There's a flip side to that coin, though.
Am I wrong to say that, though?
No, no.
Am I slightly accurate? Am I assumption?
No, you're accurate.
Anybody should be able to say whatever the fuck they want.
That's fine. That's
the
fine.
problem
I don't
that I
disagree
have
with that.
with
But
everything that's
No,
going
they
on in this
care.
fucking country.
Nike didn't care when they signing up for that contract. Why?
The-
Because you get the advertising.
Money.
Back to marketing.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
everything's all about.
It's sick. And the fact that we're policed and we can't say things just because or whatever the fuck, because people are going to take fucking offense. Disgust me.
Going back to the just specifically that call-in training camp thing that Danny was talking about, I think there's a flip side to that. Because let's say that's why he did move it last minute. He felt like he was going to get fucked over. But at the end of the day, what better way to expose the fact that they're fucking you over than playing by their rules and still not getting a job? Let's say he goes and does the workout exactly how they said, and he doesn't get hired anyway. Then at that point he can say, look, I played by their rules. I did everything they asked me to, and I'm still not getting a job. So if you still don't believe me, then that's on you. But the way he did it, he pulled out last minute, moves it 60 miles down south from where it was originally. It makes it look like he pulled the rug from under them, when in actuality it was probably just, like you said, a publicity stunt by the NFL. They had no intention of hiring him in the first place, and like you said, it was just to say, hey, we set up this training thing and he didn't show up, that's not our problem no more.
Yeah.
But now you have the situation where the popular thought in America right now, given the circumstances we're in, is that he was right and that he should be given a gig. But now you have that problem where, let's say he gets picked up by a team. Everyone is going to say, or not everyone, but people who have this mindset of calling are going to say, oh, well, he's taking a handout. The only reason he got picked up is because of this George Floyd situation that's going on and these riots going on around the country. And it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You don't give him a job, he got blackballed. Here, have some of my water if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. We'll touch mouths.
So it's like... You don't hire him, then he got blackballed from the league. Then you hire him, then you gave him a handout, and he's not really deserving.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's kind of fucked. And then as far as what you said, the media is who makes it a black and white thing. I do think that dude, Derek, it's just specifically in this instance that dude had a problem with George Floyd.
He did.
Because he was like, I don't know. I mean, what other reason is there? I don't think he would have done that to me.
Okay,
Well, yeah,
he wouldn't have done that to you. He wouldn't have done it to
in the car.
Danny.
Listen, he didn't want to get in the car, so George Floyd gave him, some problems or whatever, and he
But do you know
was dead weight, and he went to the ground. The dude fucking put his knee on his neck like a jackass, and it's in there telling him to get up, which
they love doing that, by the way. So they're conflicting commands.
Dude doesn't want to listen.
If you're a 200-pound dude with your knee on the back
that's
of
like
someone's neck,
taunting
and you're
him,
like, hey,
oh,
get up, bud, get up, dude.
What are you doing?
But have you heard? I don't know if you guys heard this. Did you hear that Floyd and this cop used
They
to
knew
work,
each
they
other.
knew each other, and they used to work security.
And there's no way he didn't know.
And that Floyd was known for calling that jackass out when he would
Being
when the
too
white
rough,
guy
right?
would treat the patrons of whatever nightclub they worked at like shit.
Right.
And Floyd would always call him out on his shitty acting.
Right. There's a strong case right now that
That's-
he knew him.
that's-
premeditated.
Yeah. It makes it seem fucked up. But what annoys me the most, aside from that, a dude was, because you know what the thing is that we're going down this rabbit hole.
But it's like apparently you can't have problems with somebody without it being some racist
you know what it is?
angle.
No, dude, you know what it is that judge and jury should not, the cops should not be judge and jury.
Or
and
executioner.
executioners. They shouldn't be that. It's not for you. This isn't Judge Dredd, bro. We're not living in a fucking comic book.
No, for sure, but
We're
that's
not.
that's why something tragic like that happens.
You like my reference?
And then
dude.
but that's why something tragic like that happens, and then we take that fucking dickhead,
right,
and you run him through the fucking system.
You put him out to pasture, but then you have
Granted,
but then you also have these other cocksuckers that kind of just stood around, right?
Yeah, you run them through the fucking system
but
too.
We
have laws, we have a system. Follow it. Yes, fucking stupid people get matters. I talk about this shit all the time with people. People go, "Oh yeah, but there's a bunch of shitty cops." They're like, yeah, just like there's shitty cops. There's just like there's shitty cooks. I'm a cook.
You know what?
Wait.
Well, hold on, but wait.
I'll let him finish his point.
There's a bunch of shitty cooks.
Yeah, no, Pat, I got shit to say.
there's a bunch of shitty cooks, right? And a shitty cook can kill somebody. just the same way as a fucking cop can.
No,
Yes, you can. Somebody
Food
said somebody
poisoning is different than fucking shooting somebody.
No,
I'm
we
sorry.
get all the time.
I'm
We get
sorry,
all the
dude.
time.
My
people
rare
say-
steak is a little different than the Glock. All right, I'm just saying.
we get people all the
just
time.
saying.
that
I got some
come in.
salmonella.
We get all the time people coming in saying that they're really allergic to this, really allergic to that. All you have to do is get a shitty cook. Oh, he's allergic to that. Okay, here, dirty it up with that. It goes out the table. The person's fucking throat closes up and they die.
Sure.
Why? Because that dude is a shitty fucking
But
individual.
here's-
like we should have people say, oh, they should add extra fucking training to the cops.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
If you're going to give a gun to somebody, they should be put through the ringer. They should know what it's like to be a cop. Listen, I support police. I think we need police. I think we need laws. I think we need people supporting the law. And I know a lot of fucking amazing cops. I have a lot of police officer family members.
Yep, same.
I am not fucking saying that we need to get rid of the police. That's stupid. That will cause anarchy. That will cause a lot of dumbass. That's like when they say we need to ban guns. You're going to ban guns and then criminals are going to have guns. That's not going to stop them from having guns. So if we disband the police and get rid of the police, the criminals aren't going to stop fucking committing crimes.
Because they're still going to get their hands on guns.
So us, that we love, and we take care of each other, and we don't care about, committing crime, we're not into that, we will become the victims.
Yep.
So
Now I agree with that, and I'm gonna add this sentiment to it.
So did that cop do something stupid? Yes. Take his ass. Let's fucking murder him in the street, just like he did to that dude.
The thing is that there's a lot of cops, dude. There's not a lot of cops. I'm not going to generalize it. However, there's something to be said to where police officers, a.k.a. public servants, need to be held to a higher moral standard than a cook.
I'm not saying that they're all held on the...
Right, but hold on, stop. But for you, hold on.
All the time, the fact that people say all the time that, oh, there's just a shitload of dirty cops. It's like there's shitloads of dirty people all over the place.
But it shouldn't be
it's
like
not
that.
Just
it shouldn't
cops.
be just...
But they say that it's all cops that are bad. They say that cops are bad. That is the narrative.
It's not.
People want... Yes, it is.
But
People
this
want
is
to
the thing.
disband...
Not all cops are bad. That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But people want to disband cops. People want to defund the cops. People are very for getting rid of police.
Right.
I don't agree with that.
No.
I say there will be shitty people all the time.
People can't police themselves.
Let's
but
make
this is
it
the
harder
problem,
for
Joe.
people to become cops.
Okay, as much as I agree with you, there was a really good
Before
article.
you
Hold on.
start, Dan.
There's a really good article that I read that says that a lot of cops that said that I keep saying a lot of cops, but I keep saying that the new procedure for cops should be to where they have to go through a criminal justice training course where they have to get as educated as a lawyer.
Just understand, people.
As a lawyer,
we are like 6 shots of
as
of
a
bourbon
lawyer,
in.
like it should
They
be.
don't need to know, man.
They should be.
We're on
Cops.
camera, dude.
That cops should be trained. Hey, bro, let me say my point. That cops should be trained in law enforcement, but not just law enforcement, but also like law, dude. Just law itself, the workings of the law, right? The repercussions, the psychological training to how to de-escalate shit.
This is the thing, Danny.
Because how many times have you been to like a party or like a bar or a club, and the cooler heads prevail? And when you're not taught how to de-escalate shit, right? And you're an instigator, right? You're not getting anything accomplished. All you're going to do is make shit worse.
This shit goes deeper than Broward County PD. This shit goes deeper
Broward County, bro.
than Minneapolis PD. This shit goes deeper than all these counties, bro. It goes all the way back to the weapons manufacturers that have government contracts that make an amount of weapons that we don't need, that they have nothing to do with but to sell to our police departments and militarize our police forces.
Was George Floyd shot?
No.
Was he shot?
No.
Where are you going with that?
No, he was not shot.
Can I finish my fucking point? And maybe maybe I gave you guys the floor for like a good 10, 15 minutes.
No.
No me
Danny
grites.
has had the floor for about 2 hours.
I always have the floor in every podcast.
Joe, you have every right to speak, man. You just been.
I've barely been able to because we can't talk over each other. And you gotta like scream over Danny.
This is gonna be a long episode.
Hey, bro.
So listen. So it goes to that because
I don't want the mic anymore.
George Floyd and Eric Garner were pretty much the only 2 people that were giant cases that weren't shot at. Like pretty much everyone else was murdered at gunpoint. So we've gotten to this point where we're militarizing the police force, and like you said, we're incentivizing this like the problem with police is that it's a cult almost. Like you said, those 3 guys were standing around not doing shit. Whereas like you should, if you saw me doing some foul shit, you would hold me accountable.
I would tell you to fucking quit it, bro.
Right. So that's the problem is that there's no, and Dave Chappelle touched on this in his 846 special. To see that shit. It's phenomenal. So he touched on how there's these cops that have called out other cops. And then what happens is that there's nothing that protects them from the wrath of these other police officers who feel like they snitched
it's
on
like
their
a
own.
Whistleblower.
And so they start stalking this guy. They start putting him through certain situations that he. So
you're saying the cops are like Scientology?
Correct.
I get it.
Well, that they're just not those words, man. But that's just that if you have someone that's a whistleblower, like someone that's like an Ed Snowden for the police department. Yeah. They're going to get treated like an Ed Snowden where he has to get his ass to Russia and he's not allowed back in America else he's arrested. All his police buddies or whatever, like he pretty much has to quit the force at that point.
It's the police union.
It should be...
Unions are garbage, by the way.
If you're a whistleblower in the police department, you call out a police officer for doing some foul shit, you should be treated as a hero, as someone who did something right, not as someone
morally accurate.
Shunned.
And that's what I was saying, dude, is that I feel... it's not that I feel, it's just logical, bro. Like, cops are to be held... The excuse of, shitty cops, but there's shitty workers at every place that you work at.
It's not an excuse.
That's what I wanted to
But it's not an excuse.
But people use that a lot, dude. They do.
But it's not an excuse. It's the fact
that
people...
People
condemn
it sounds
all
annoying.
Cops.
It sounds annoying. It sounds annoying as fuck when a public servant that's supposed to execute justice and peace is bundled up with a dude that works at McDonald's, well, there's shitty McDonald's employees, well, there's shitty cops. Cops have to be and should be held to a higher moral ground.
It is not being used as an excuse.
It sounds that way.
What do you mean?
Okay, this is what I mean. It's not being used as an excuse. It's saying there are shitty people all across the board. When I say that, it's because people are saying defund the police, disband the police. We don't need the police.
You should defund the police to a certain degree because so much of our money goes to paying for these people that spend half their time writing fucking traffic tickets.
How hard is it to be a police officer? Do you understand? Do you know how hard it is to be a police officer? Do you know how hard it is to get a call to somebody's house that you don't fucking know, that you don't know where it is, and you need to show up to this house, and you don't know how they're acting, you don't know how they're going to behave or how they're going to be? Do you know how hard that is? Yes, it is. It's very difficult. Hard. It's and you can't walk in there guns a-blazing. You got to walk in there with your gun at your holster. How's everything going? What's going on? I've seen so many videos.
Have you seen the video where the dude, where the dude, and this is like, because the thing is that there's so many back and forths and so many good examples of why cops tend to be quote unquote high strung in situations. Right?
There's a lot of reasons for that.
There was one video that happened in Fort Worth.
Imagine yourself getting a call, going to some house because there's violence going on, because there's domestic abuse, the dude's beating the shit out of his wife, or some crazy shit's going on, and they tell you need to go handle that.
The problem. Joe,
what are you gonna do? You're going to somebody's house that you don't fucking know. The dude's been drinking. You go knock on the door and the dude shoots through the fucking door.
Yes, they're put in high stress situations, Joe, but they fucking signed up for it. So if they don't know how to handle it, that's their fucking fault. That's not my fault. It's not Breonna Taylor's fault that someone knocked on her fucking door and walked into her house and shot her in her bed. It's not her fucking fault, and I'm not gonna feel bad for the fucking cop that signed up for the gig, bro.
And I'm not saying that.
I'm not gonna feel bad for that person, bro.
I'm just saying that. But the reason I'm saying this is because you were saying that we have too many people sitting around fucking, filling out parking tickets.
Yeah, we do.
But then there's a motherfucker too that shot the kid.
Why am I getting a ticket for parking in the wrong spot when you have some dude selling drugs on the corner that you're turning a blind eye to because they're paying you, right?
Yo, what about the dude? What about the guy that got shot in the fucking hallway at in the hotel?
In the hotel.
Remember that?
That guy had like "fuck you" or some crazy shit engraved on his gun.
Listen, regardless of what the fuck the dude had engraved in his gun, some shit like that. Whatever the dude had engraved in his gun is irrelevant. Right?
I don't think so. I think it shows intent to kill.
No, dude, because you know what?
You should be a de-escalating
force. But if I had an AR, right? If I had an AR and I engraved on the side of it, I said lead slinger. Does that automatically apply?
They'll use that against you in court.
Right, exactly. But that's not lead slinger. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm the lead slinger? You're slinging lead, bro. You're a lead slinger, dude.
So weird though to
But
put that on something like that.
Why not, dude? That's a cool ass saying.
The reason I wouldn't do that is because they'll use it against you. But
hold on, dude.
That's why I wouldn't do that.
But why would you? The idea of being a police officer and being not a police officer, but anybody that carries a gun for protection is you pray that you never have to use it. Right. Unless it's you're target practicing and you're training yourself to keep yourself consistent. But you never want to use it on someone else.
So when you put something like that on your gun, it kind of speaks to you as a person.
No, it's decoration. It's a decoration.
Punisher skull versus a fucking
dude. A Punisher skull on a badass 1911 is pretty fucking cool looking.
That's different than writing your fucking dad.
But does that mean? But does that mean that you're the Punisher? Like, does that mean you're a vigilante, dude?
I think you feel.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't, dude. No.
What
about the guns?
That on their gun,
dude.
Though?
What about these? What about pretty cool? Like, what about these fucking cool guns? Like these fucking Glocks or like these fucking 6 hours that are done up in Deadpool like
I think they're
livery.
Silly, man. I think they're silly.
That's fucking cool, bro.
For a movie character or a superhero, but it's not practical.
No, listen. What you're doing is you're putting the gun on a pedestal. A gun is a tool. It's no different than engraving a hammer or an axe or a knife. I can't put my name or a cool engravement on a knife now because it's a weapon or it could be used as a weapon. No, dude, you're personalizing a tool. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay.
I think we're getting too caught up in that point.
That point aside, the guy that shot the dude in the hallway was a fucking douchebag, fucking fuckboy. He was a piece of shit. Okay.
Yeah, he gave the guy a whole bunch of weird fucking.
Put your hands down. Put your hands down. Not that fast. Not that slow.
To me. Start standing up.
That's weird shit. That's a fucking power move. There's a buddy of mine. There's a buddy of mine that I know who was born and raised in Miami Springs. And if you know anything about Miami Springs cops, they're fucking ruthless out there. But the point is that this fucking cat ran into one of the cops and realized the guy was being a dick to him and his buddies. They were parked outside of the dude's house, outside of the car, posting up against it, just hanging out. Cop pulls up. Oh, we're getting reports of drugs being sold. And the guy's like, one of the guys got mouthy and was like, yeah, because we're selling drugs out in the open. I live right here. Like, I could just, Then it became a whole fucking thing of, show me your ID. No, fuck you. I got to show you shit. I'm on my property. It became a big deal. But my buddy realized that this cat was a bullied kid in school. In the school that they went to.
He recognized him?
He recognized him. He's like, saw you last night. He goes, hey, did you go to this school? He goes, what's that your fucking problem? You know what I mean? Like, why is that your fucking problem? What school did I went to? Like, goes, hey, bro, it's cool. But the guy acted like a cocksucker. Like, how many times? But are there people that join the force, right? And unfortunately have that bully or be bullied mentality?
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
But the last place it should be is as a public servant who is supposed to uphold justice and peace. That's not your place to be there. You shouldn't be there. If you psychologically have an issue with wanting to be superior to someone else, brother, the last thing you should do is be someone that's armed and trained to defend yourself and others, right?
To defend others primarily. I mean,
for the most part.
People say, oh, my job as a cop is to get home safe. No, it's not. It's to protect and serve, motherfucker.
That might be a subplot to your story. When you leave, listen.
Imagine if the president told, or if the Secret Service told the president, "Hey, my job today is to get home safe, not to protect you, President." You think they have that job the next day?
I think it's the wording.
Get home safe means
that the
day went good and nothing went haywire.
Sure, bro. You gotta hope, but you gotta understand that oath you take is putting you in those situations where you're showing up at some dude's house that you don't know, and he put a bullet in the roof, like you said, put off a warning shot or whatever. You sign up for that. So you got to understand that your mission is to protect whoever's in that house.
Serve the public.
Or whatever. Correct.
Sure.
They're a servant. We pay them.
Now, you want to go. You want to come home. Listen, you want to come home. There's no doubt about that.
As a human, you do. As a human, you do.
You don't want to be anybody in a job that's risky and be like, fuck.
No one wants to think
my job today is to drive a truck. My job today is to line prep. My job today is to ship out hazardous materials. But but the last thing you're thinking about in our jobs is, I fucking wish I make it home today.
Right.
Now, we take that for granted because we're not in a position where the situation
our lives
change.
Are in danger.
Can
That's
switch
not what
in
I
a
signed
moment.
up for.
No. But being someone that signed up for a job that could make that turn, right? Whether you're I'm not going to give examples because it doesn't make any sense to associate
such specific instances.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense because we're pitting with a broad brush here.
Right.
But I really do believe that like your goal when you leave your house should not be like, because you know who probably had that idea of, oh, my job today is to make it home, is that cocksucker that didn't walk into Parkland, that posted up in his car.
Oh yeah, that bum ass dude who stood outside for 4 minutes.
Oh yeah, there's an active shooter, but your job is to protect and serve, but you're posted up in your car.
Right.
Your goal was to make it home that night.
Right.
But how many kids didn't make it home that night? Because how many less kids could you have saved?
Right.
Or made a difference, dude, if you just intervened?
Just did something.
If you had just done the job you signed up for.
He's the only fucking other person on campus with a firearm.
I used to be so fucking steadfast in that mentality.
That's why gun-free zones are the first places that a motherfucker's going to go and shoot up.
You've never seen a pawn shop being held up?
No.
No.
Or they're at least they'll fire back.
Dude,
I have seen it.
You'll get lit up, dude.
But that's why gun-free zones are the first motherfucking place. It goes back to, taking guns away from citizens. Who's going to still have guns? Criminals.
And the government.
So, of course, criminals are going to... Exactly. And that's our right as Americans to protect ourselves from criminals and our own government.
There's really two really good examples, man, when it comes to, like, the whole gun thing. Because in Texas...
Waco. Right?
What? Waco?
Oh, I thought you were talking
about...
no.
No, Waco was... Dude, that's a different rabbit hole.
That's nuts.
That's something completely different.
I heard Texas and guns.
No. You'll piss off libertarians and all these other motherfuckers.
But that's nothing to do with guns, though.
Ruby Ridge.
But yeah, Ruby Ridge was hard.
That's wild.
Oh,
wild
anyways, dude, another day.
Yes.
Another day for Ruby Ridge. So, like, it's what happened at that church in it wasn't Temple, bro, but it was like
when the Dylan Roof hit up.
No. It was who?
Are we talking about the mass shooting?
It was a dude that came in and it was stopped by a guy who was in church
Oh,
caring.
I heard about that.
And there was two situations months apart where the same shit happened.
Where someone intervened and stopped the shooting, right? Yeah.
One guy, one was like two or three people were like.
One ended up in like a car chase, right?
I don't remember, dude. I don't remember. All I know is that a guy was carrying that day at church, praising God, praising the Lord, amen. Killed the dude and saved hundreds of people in the congregation. Another one was a guy had walked in. There's video of it because they were filming the service. Guy comes in with a shotgun, hooded up. A dude stands up, but doesn't. He stands up before he draws. The guy turns, bang, blows him away. Another guy draws under the pew. A pew is the church, the church chair, the benches. He draws under the pew, stands up and goes, pops one off, and cuffs the guy. One guy was lost, but it saved the whole congregation. It doesn't make any sense to me for someone to say the last thing we need are guns. I've got liberal friends, bro, that love to say, oh, if I've been in positions where if there's a gun around me, like I might have been dead, and I'm like, okay, well that's 100% on you, and no one else. If you feel that way, whatever your circumstances, that's on you and no one else. But I view my firearm as a tool. Now, there's something about in us as humans, and somehow higher evolved apes where we love target practice and marksmanship, right? That's why we have basketball and sports. Soccer, what are you doing? You're shooting. You're kicking a ball into a goalpost. Basketball, you're shooting a ball into a hoop. What is it? You're doing accuracy shit. If you're using a gun for fun, it's for only testing your accuracy and your ability to control a gun, like a ball, like any sport. When you kick a field goal.
So how does this relate back to police officers?
It pisses me off when people blame guns as a blanket problem. As something that's somehow given sentient, abilities to execute malicious acts. A gun is a tool. It's no different than a hammer. It's no different than a fucking staple gun or a fucking table saw. Guns are the biggest, are the least problem when it comes to violence. I hate to say it, but it's mental health. If you're a person that can easily make the decision that you want to take someone else's life, the tool you use to execute your plan is irrelevant to the fact that you were meticulous in thought to hurt someone else.
So at what point is something just a mental health issue, and at what point do you call something just pure terrorism? Like, if we're going to go down that rabbit hole, because
terrorism is
we
just
started talking about police. Like, how do we get to the Second Amendment
we're a
rights to bear arms?
we're a little drunk. So there's whiskey going through our system, and I forgot. Weren't we just talking about Last of Us? How did we get here?
Listen, murder can happen with any tool. I worked at a restaurant, and a dude had a problem. I had a fake problem with one of the guys. He just had a problem with people in general, and took his fucking his fillet knife, went over to the dude while he was on dish, and stabbed him 9 times. He didn't use a gun. He took a knife and stabbed this dude 9 fucking times from head to legs.
But that goes
9
with
fucking
intention,
times.
dude. If your intention is to harm, you
that
will.
That guy was fucked in his head. You know what he did right after that? After this dude fucking fell to the ground bleeding to death, and everybody watching like, what the fuck just happened? He dropped that knife, went over and sat in the front and waited for the police. Why? Because that dude had mental issues and was fucked up. Totally, if he was willing to take a knife and go and stab some dude that he had no reason to, the dude has problems. So it doesn't matter. Like Danny said, he used a tool. So granted, yeah, a gun, you can go and you can get off a couple rounds and whatnot and fucking take somebody out or whatever. But again, it doesn't have a problem. It's not a problem with the tool that's used. Because, again, we have the rights for all these tools.
I don't disagree with anything you guys are saying. I just think we're a little off topic.
Sorry, dude.
I don't disagree.
Well, what is the topic?
Let's go back to topic. Let's go back to
Well, we
topic.
were talking about police, really, and I don't disagree with anything you said.
I think because he brought up the gun thing, and I went on like a Second Amendment tangent.
The topic is that, some police.
How do we vet police officers? Because you said they can't be people that break under pressure.
No, there shouldn't be, dude. Listen, like, to give an example, right? Like, maybe some people don't know is the fact that this fucking dude, man. Go ahead, Matt.
No, real quick. JC, hit me.
What I'm trying to say
JC, hit me.
I've been listening to all this thing, and the thing is that some policemen, they can't carry a gun. They just can't.
No, that's
mentally they're not prepared for that shit.
No.
Shootings.
No.
They'll shoot they'll shoot people just.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. Look, like, by trade, right? I drive big rigs. I drive trucks for a living. That's what I do, right? 18-wheelers. I love doing that shit. If you don't meet the qualifications, whether it's, dude, there's a mental health criteria you have to meet to drive a truck. You can't be on any kind of, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I remember, you can't be on any kind of psychotic,
You mean narcotic?
Narcotic
No,
or what?
psychotic meds.
Psychotic meds.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? You can't be on anything like a Xanax.
Okay.
You can't be prescribed Xanax when you're driving, 11 hours in one direction. Right. You nod off and fuck some people up, dude. You can't do that. There's a criteria that needs to be met. You can't have a fucked up driving record. You can't have a record of suspended licenses your whole fucking existence of having a driver's license, because that means that you're irresponsible. There's a criteria that needs to be met before you take on the responsibility of driving an 80,000-pound vehicle. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not just un fucking cualquiera. Now, there are places in fucking Hialeah and Okeechobee Road, not saying where to find them, where you can get you throw some money under the table and you get a Class A license.
But people don't know, though.
But that exists.
He just made it easy for people now.
But that happens because it people be like, oh, you're gonna manejar camión, I want to drive some trucks, and they fucking find the right person, slip the right amount of cash, and they get that. But that's not the criteria to drive a truck by federal law is not what it's being upheld by a lot of people, and I think there needs to be. There was a shady school by where I work that was a trucking school. And they got shut down, fucking finally, because that place would just hand out licenses for Class A drivers. Hand out licenses.
So how do you make this into something that we can enforce with the police hiring?
Listen, dude, I don't know what the hiring for the police is, but I definitely do believe.
Well, the point is, I have heard this meme or whatever that's going around where they say, it takes 3 months for a police academy, but 2 years for your barber license or whatever, or cosmetic license. So
I get that.
Okay, that doesn't make
there
sense.
There needs to be. Listen, dude. Even the fucking army will disqualify you if you're physically not in the proper condition. How many fucking horrendously how many horrendously out of shape cops do you find? Not fat shaming, okay?
But you know why? It's because there's They pass the initial police academy test, and then there's nothing else for them left
But
to
that
do.
goes back to my point of you should be held up to a standard.
Right.
You should maintain and uphold a standard, not a standard of living, but like you should just self-maintenance, dude, so that you can qualify for your jobs. You know that truck drivers, right? Every 2 years, there's a medical card. I'll show you my wallet. There's a medical card. You have to go and get examined. Physical. Your blood pressure can't be too crazy. You have to be in physical condition to squat, stand up, and do basic movements so that you can so that they can qualify you, and you can renew that medical certification card. Now, are there people that hand that shit out like hotcakes to fat fucks that can't touch their goddamn toes? Of course there is. It shouldn't be that way, but we shouldn't compare truckers to cops. There should be a super high, excuse me, I'm burping, guys, sorry. There should be a high moral ground that police officers should be held to because of the job that they're doing. Yes,
correct,
dude.
Correct. More lives are at stake at their job.
That's literally all that it means, dude. There needs to be a process. Now, some might argue, well, that's what happens when you let the state weed out people. You know what I mean? When you privatize something and you're a privatized company, private companies will fucking screen the fuck out of you and bullshit you out of a job for the dumb. Well, your vision is kind of fucked up and you wear like a -4 in glasses. Your vision's pretty fucked. You can't drive trucks. You can't do this job. So, but why is it so easy? It seems like
to be a police officer.
It seems that way.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
My brother is a correctional officer in Fort Worth, right? That motherfucker tried his hardest to become a police officer, and he got rejected for whatever reason, right? Whatever the case was. But he's a correctional officer now, and he's happy with it. Now, my brother dreams about being a cop. He's wanted it since he was little. His heart might be in the right place to achieve the job, right? Because to him, that's his passion. That's what he wants to do. To him, it's not a paycheck. But then you got other cats. That's them. It's a paycheck.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
there's certain jobs you can't do for a paycheck. Doctor, nurse.
Bang. That's it. You said it perfect. You just can't be a surgeon that comes in and's like, fucking heart transplant. Here we go, bro. Hey, fucking Sylvia, come over here, bro. Like, let's do this.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem, though. That's the
I
problem.
gotta pee. I'm next.
With go ahead. With the job like nurse and doctor and whatnot, sometimes you need a person.
You wouldn't say like, oh, but there's crappy doctors.
No.
Yeah, I may or
but
may
there
not
are.
get the surgery.
No, there
right.
are, but you definitely don't want one.
No, you don't.
Right?
But there are though.
But there shouldn't be.
There's fucking
I
shitty
don't
plastic
think- I don't-
surgeons that botch fucking surgeries all the time. The thing is when it comes to medicine, I feel like you need somebody who is able to take out the emotion and looks at it more of like a job. Because, like, my wife is a nurse, and she works at Jo DiMaggio, and she works with children who are awaiting heart transplants.
Fuck.
My wife comes home all the time, like fucking torn up, crying about, a child that she just got to know and just died and was never going to get a transplant because they were so far down on the list. And, I love the fact that she's willing to be able to go out there and do that job, but she can't do that job because it's too hard emotionally for her. She's a mother of 2 children, of 2 little boys, and it's hard for her to see kids. And me personally, I look at that. I love kids, and I fight for kids. And I see stuff like that, and I'm getting goosebumps right now because it's like, I can't have a job like that. That's why I slang fucking steaks and do bullshit like that, because I can't sit there and worry about a kid who's dying of cancer because I will legitimately cry. But you need people who look at it as, this is my job. And they go in there and they take care of a child who has cancer and they do everything that they can for them because it's their job. Granted, you have a lot of people who go into the business because they feel so much for kids and they want to do so much.
Yeah.
But then you have people who can't handle it.
Yeah, there's a lot of you, like,
I feel like for a job like that, you need those hardcore, old school nurses that are like, here, let me hook you up. Let me draw your blood. Let me take your tests and whatnot. That can then go and do that for another 20 years and not get bogged down mentally or mentally distraught because, oh my God, they saw so many kids die from cancer. You know, like, whatever the fuck we're talking about. I don't know why I'm saying this.
Yeah, I don't know what tangent I walked in on, dude.
No, it's okay, man. I think it boils down to do something like be a police officer. There's certain qualifications and certain prerequisites that need to be met that aren't really being enforced right now. Like you said, man, people getting rejected for the Army for having flat feet. But we have, I think the accuracy requirement for the police academy is like 70%.
I don't know, dude. I wish
It's
I could tell you. I don't know.
stupid,
I don't
it's
know.
like, hey, man, if
think
my guy's
police-
using a firearm at 70%, that's a C.
I think police is a
When you
job.
put it like that,
Policing
yeah.
is a job that should be people wanting to be police officers
Right.
for the right reasons.
Right,
For sure.
exactly, yes.
The thing is it's hard to say fuck all police and the way that they do it is all fucked up when it's easy for someone to fucking lie.
It's also hard to be the good cop and to try and make a difference when your chief is assigning you to a predominantly minority neighborhood and telling you to make X amount of arrests.
You know what I've really heard that
The
is
quotas,
how do you-
quotas is a fucked up thing.
How do
quotas
you-
should not exist in policing.
It shouldn't, man, because how do you tell somebody, hey, you need to arrest X amount of people? It's like, well, maybe X amount of people didn't commit crimes this month, bro.
Yeah. You
You
know what's a
know?
really what's a point that I keep hearing too in discussions is having cops that were raised in a certain community that want to be cops to patrol those same communities. So if you were
Right.
born and raised in Hialeah Gardens, like myself,
You patrol Hialeah
and you want to be a
Gardens.
cop, you patrol Hialeah Gardens.
Right.
People know you.
Right.
Right? You can't be a cat from fucking Delray Beach
But that's what happens
and you're out
right
kicking
now.
it in Liberty City.
And then let's say
You can't-
The
do
thing
that
is,
shit.
is how many people come out of Liberty City wanting to be a police officer? Not saying anything about Liberty City, but just saying like, let's say like what you just said there. Maybe
saying
there
the
aren't
culture
people,
of Liberty
maybe there aren't
City?
people wanting to be cops in Liberty City, so they have
That's
to
true.
bring cops from other places.
true.
That's like my uncle. My uncle lives in Jupiter. He's a firefighter in Hialeah.
But
He
especially
drives fucking like
That's
an
a little-
hour and a half.
That's a little different though.
No. That specific situation, but what he's saying isn't wrong. Like you have the neighborhoods where this discrimination is going on are predominantly minority neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And the culture is cops are bad. You know what I'm saying? Especially now, all
But that
cops
has a
are
lot
bastards.
to do with exactly what you said.
This,
the
that, and
culture.
the third. And so, how many people out of Hialeah Gardens come out and really want to be an officer? You know what I mean? Versus how many people out of Weston or Davie or Cooper City?
I guess I see what you're saying because because if that were the case,
supply and
then-
demand, bro. How many?
Right. No,
people?
I get what you're saying, and you're right. And I guess, like I said, there's an argument that I'm hearing.
No, it's a good point.
that-
But
that
the thing
makes-
is that's another good point. Is really how many people want to be cops coming out of those places? Because especially now, cops are. I guarantee you, the recruitment we're going to go through a cop shortage in the next couple of years.
I
Because
believe it.
so many people are
No
quitting.
one's gonna
So
wanna
many
take
people
it.
are getting fired, and then another problem.
Nah, dude.
That lends itself to your point is that let's say you get put on administrative leave in Broward County. I'll just go over to Ocala and be a cop in Ocala. And they'll hire you, no problem, because guess what? You got
Ocala
experience.
sounds like a cush job, though, bro, to work up there.
Yeah.
It's like being
Naples.
Aventura PD, bro. What are
Could you
those
imagine-
fuckers doing?
Could you imagine in Naples? You're
Giving
just
out
like,
motherfucking traffic
Oh,
tickets.
look,
That's what
look.
they're
Yo,
doing.
he's on the mic. Look, he's on the mic. He stood up for the mic. Hold on.
no, I like,
man.
I like how
think-
he sat down for a while.
PD does nothing, bro.
Yo,
Like
can
you
we
said,
can we
traffic
change subject
tickets,
because this topic
and
stresses
that's
me
it.
out. It pisses me
I
off.
was gonna say, man, at this point, there's nothing much that we can say that hasn't been said a million times
Yeah,
over
dude, I
already.
feel that way.
And it's kind of going down a rabbit hole that no matter what I say, I guarantee you there's already half the people that watch this that don't agree with what I say and that don't fuck with me.
That are
and don't
yelling
fuck
at their
with you guys.
radios and tuned out.
For
Probably.
sure.
Correct,
Dude,
correct,
coronavirus
correct.
is man-made.
You can't say.
No, it literally
It's
was.
not trendy anymore. It already happened.
It literally was, though. Like, it legitimately was.
They
I
believe
don't
they've
remember
been.
that shit.
I've heard podcasts with microbiologists or virologists that they talked about how for a SARS virus, for example, for a virus in general to jump from one species to the other takes hundreds up to a couple thousand years for it to go from a fucking hummingbird to a human, or from a hummingbird to a rat or a mongoose or whatever. But that the SARS virus did it that the coronavirus was first detected, I guess, like 10 or 12 years ago or some shit like that in animals, and then it took 10 or 12 years to infect humans. And a virologist was like, yeah, that process doesn't happen without some help. Is what they said. It
was man-made.
Wuhan,
China.
Wuhan
is like the shittiest symbols you could ever buy.
Talking about the Kung flu, bro.
But they're affordable.
Talking about the Kung flu.
You know what's funny is I had a Wuhan China.
Everyone had a Wuhan China at one point.
Right?
They're like $30, dude.
Yo, $20. I got mine for like $18.99.
Yeah. The Wuhan whoop.
The Wuhan China. Isn't that funny?
On that note, though,
it's
guys,
a China symbol.
I don't know. Anyways, dude, speaking of Corona, I got a question, right? Because this is a completely off topic, music-wise.
Okay.
Because
we haven't talked about music this whole podcast.
Yeah, I'm so
ask me questions.
That's phenomenal.
Dude, that's how Mekronium was started.
No, again.
I already asked
dude,
you that,
so
guys.
have you during like this whole like quarantine period, right, where everything was shut down, have you come across anything musically, like artists or inspiration? Where have you found your inspiration musically? Within the last like couple of, because I can speak for myself that I know that I have found like more interesting stuff that I wasn't paying attention to as of late.
The thing is, man, is that the Strokes dropped a new album in April. So I've just been stuck on that. I got to be completely honest with you.
But nothing new, nothing different.
As far as like artists, I've been really, really getting deep into like production, like beat making and sampling and stuff. And I just really fuck with it, and you know I haven't. Unoya is pretty much on hold right now, man. As far as like band wise,
same.
And not because we don't want to do it or because of the corona. It's after Kryptonite, that new guitarist we brought on board quit like 3 days later.
That was such a shitty thing, dude. That happened, yo.
It is what it is. Austin was a cool guy, but he just wasn't feeling the whole trying to be a rock star thing, which is fine. I get it. You know, and so that's more why it's kind of on hiatus. But right now we're working with some people. The core is still the same. It's me, Brian, and Alex. Mm-hmm. But we got 2 others from another local band that you guys know.
What?
And so it's kind of like a new super little project going on. Kind of like
the beans.
You don't have to do it here.
Is it Ralph?
After we can talk about it after the show.
Is it Ralph?
But so I've been working on that, drafting out material and shit. So I can show you guys some of that after. But that's pretty much been it. I've really just been getting into kind of like appreciating what I do have, because one thing I haven't had to deal with during this whole thing is losing my job.
God damn it, yeah, dude, I feel that.
And so I know so many people who have lost their jobs, family members, friends, even coworkers who've gotten fired at my job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Essential.
We had the same shit, dude.
Essential for sure.
Essential.
So you know what I mean? It hasn't hit home for me because I've never had to leave. Even when the whole office was working at home, I was one of the 2 people who was still going into the office. It was me and the owner. Yep. That's it. Wow. So I haven't felt that repercussion, and it's kind of allowed me to take a step back and be like, man.
Super thankful, right?
Yeah. I have an awesome gig. I'm able to come in here and still do remote interviews with people.
Yep.
I'm working on some big guests. Can't say who. Big guests. And
just wait.
And all that shit's coming down the pipe, and taking this 2 months off almost.
I'll give you a hint.
You know what I mean?
Christ.
Without the traffic and all that shit. It's just giving me some time to reflect, man. I've just been taking this time to reflect. I can't tell, you know, I can't ask or I can't say what you guys have been doing, but just reflecting, trying to write some new music, and listening to the Strokes album. That's pretty much.
Get ready for the second wave. It's probably going to get quarantined all over again like the past 2 months.
Dude, I really do
It's going to happen again. And to be honest with you, as far as my job goes, I pray for another quarantine. I hate 90% of the people I work with.
You know what's happening again? In the stimulus check.
Stimulus check. You know what? They can keep their stimulus check. I work for my money. But I hate 90% of the people I work with, and I would love to have another 2 months without them. So that'd be awesome. I'll go into work by myself like I did the past 2 months.
I liked it.
Call me selfish, but fuck them.
No, I was getting used to being in the office empty. Like at first it was eerie, and then once everyone got back, I started finding myself like in a bad mood more often.
Because all the other people that weren't there suck ass.
They're annoying as fuck, dude.
Yeah, they don't fucking work. Fuck them.
My job tends to be like solo regardless. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
going out on
sure.
yourself. So I didn't catch all that.
Maybe
But
everywhere you're making drop-offs, though, is probably
no,
because
because my hospitals, I noticed I'm dropping people.
Hospitals are probably the most staffed places
Dude,
around the world.
You would be surprised how many nurses they furloughed.
Furloughed? Well,
Yeah,
you
that
know
means-
what?
that means, like, pushing them off, like-
You'd be
like,
surprised.
paid, whatever.
A lot of people.
No, not paid.
No, not paid. Yeah,
Not
you're
paid.
right.
A lot of
That's
people.
like, you're not
We're not
fired,
fired, but you don't get
come back.
paid. Right.
Yeah.
You're not fired, don't come back, but you have the possibility of being called back.
And
Dude,
the thing,
you'd be
too-
surprised, dude, how many people were let go. Because everybody was going, the
they
hospitals are
stopped
nuts. It's like they weren't for
They
a while.
stopped taking people that weren't coronavirus
They
patients.
weren't. There's one
You walk in there with a broken arm, they sent your ass home.
Dude, they sent it to a fucking what's the name of that fucking
Specialist?
Concentra. They send you to a Concentra to fucking go get your
What the
stuff.
fuck is a consent?
A little an in and out fucking clinic or whatever.
Wow.
You know, or an empty now or some
A
shit
free
like that.
clinic type shit?
I guess.
No,
Look,
free clinics, what is this one?
dude, but they would do that shit, dude. They didn't like they would send people home. One of the hospitals that I work out of, they would normally operate. For example, I got 500 patients, right? Average, right? But they were operating at right under 200 during the whole Corona thing.
Jesus Christ.
Because they were just focusing on those. But so think about that, dude. Like they're not gonna staff nurses for patients that they're turning away or that aren't going in there.
No, it makes sense.
It was not. It was people. A lot of people were fucking. The hospitals are nuts. No, not really. They had one goal in mind, which was to take care of COVID patients, and that was it. Nothing. That was hectic, and it blew up crazy for a little bit. Like it got hectic for me, 3 weeks was nuts, and then after a while, it started to taper down and simmer down, and it was like you saw it peak, and then it died, and then now people are really worried about this second wave bullshit. So it just seems like there's even extra precautions happening. Like at my job, when we clock in, we got to scan a little QR code. We got a message that's sent to our phone, and then it's a link to a website where we have to answer 3 questions. Have you had a high fever? No, yes or no. Have you come in contact have you been in contact with someone that has had COVID? Okay, no.
In the past 14 days.
Yeah.
We have to sign these papers on a daily basis every time we walk into work. Fill out, check all these boxes. No. Sign it and do all that bullshit too.
Yeah, we got to do the same shit every day. And then we get a return to work ticket, which looks like a fucking dumb as fuck little like carnival fair ticket, and it says my company's name and says you're qualified to return to work. And I got to show it to my supervisor every morning. Like, look, I qualify. Even though I lied on all the questions. And he's like, you lied? I go, guess. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Man, when it comes to this quarantine shit, I'm obviously like loving my job. Like before the quarantine, I wanted to quit. Now I'm like happy as shit. I actually love quarantine. Fuck this shit. Everything stay closed forever. The only thing that I'm pissed off about is I can't play shows.
Is that really it?
That's it.
What about like eating out?
I don't give a shit. I don't eat out.
Going to a bar.
A lot of places are garbage anyways.
Going to the beach.
Going to the beach, I never would like the beach.
Disney World.
Fuck Disney World.
That's you, man. I'm talking about for me, dude.
I'm talking about myself.
Fuck you, Joe. How about that?
Shit. I fucking have a great time with my family.
Fuck Buffalo Wild
I get all the hours I need at work.
Shit.
I don't have to see a lot of stupid shitheads that I don't give a fuck about.
I was having a hard time always going home and seeing the wife and the kid, because I'm so used to my wife working and the kiddo being at school that the times that I would come home I'd have like an hour or two to kill. But then every day was just like wife and kid, and I'm like, God damn, dude, like I'm not used to this. It was an oversaturation of attention and stimulus. You know,
how'd you deal with it?
For me, it's the opposite. For me, I work like fucking 12 hours a day and come home and everybody's asleep.
That's my situation. My situation is the same way, where I would work long hours, but I never got the break. I would always get like a day of a break. You know what I mean? And my biggest gripe was just the fact that I can't, because what I always did was like when I would felt like being too trapped in the apartment, whether it was because of, you know, my chick talking to me, my kiddo talking to me, and like again, just being overly bombarded with attention. I'm a dude that enjoys his alone time, you know? And so when I would always be getting attention and presence of people, I would normally be like, hey, you guys want to go change the scenery, go for a walk, or let's go to a restaurant. But since the restaurants were closed and you couldn't really be out without a fucking mask, everything felt abnormal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything
Right.
just didn't feel like I can relax because everything felt like, well, let me not cough. Well, let me not
Oh,
put a mask.
Very
Because there's
rigid.
always a cocksucker that wants to call you out on why aren't you wearing your mask when you're on the fucking sidewalk. Hey, bitch, there's a lot of sidewalk to go around for everybody. And I saw a lot of that. So my hardest deal, dude, I'd fucking go to my room and play guitar, put headphones on and just noodle. Because I didn't want to, I needed my alone time, and I wasn't used to being stuck indoors with the same people every day. Even though I left to go to work, but it was either work, see the same people, come back, see the same people. Work, see the same, there wasn't a break where I could just be alone, you know? Or see my friends. Like, listen, I'm going to just grab a drink with so-and-so. And, you know, my chick would be like, oh, we'll go grab a drink and come back.
You can always call me asshole.
Well, no, because you like being with your family and at work. You're
And
a
you
family
can come
man at
over.
work, man.
You can come over and fucking
No,
hang
because I
out.
don't want to give your kids corona.
And you won't.
Yes, I will.
Because it's made up.
Because corona's real.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, our cameras died. You know what I'm saying? This is a discussion that could
Oh
go
my
on
God.
for days and days.
Oh my God.
So
Is this
at this
platanos?
point, man, we got food. Let's wrap it up. Danny and Joe, thank you guys so much for coming out here.
I don't know
man.
what that is, but that's delicious.
It's
I was just saying the exact same thing.
episode 100. It's been a fucking blast. Malik, thank you for being
How long did we
here.
go, dude?
100, man.
How long have what?
How long did we go?
It's about to be 2 hours.
Perfect
So-
for episode 100, man.
So
Celebration.
thank you guys so much for sticking. Oh, the camera's dead.
We got so heavy.
Thank you everyone for sticking around. Thank you for sticking around for the Last of Us spoilers, the heavy conversations. It's definitely a topic that requires more time, but it's just not something we're crazy into delving into right now. Maybe
Yeah.
down the line I'll cover it more on the podcast, but at the end of the day, who wants to fucking hear what I have to think about this bullshit? So,
Yeah,
with
why
that
tune
being
in?
said, you know what I mean? I just mean about that specific issue, but with that being said, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Check out Mekronium on Instagram. And when we're playing live shows, this video is going to be on YouTube. When we're playing live shows, all those are going to get announced right here on the throne. Make sure you tune in, man. Other than that,
And to quote Jerry Springer, love yourselves and,
each other. Yo, for real, man. It's been a blast. 100 episodes in, 100 more,
Thank you,
and
thank
more
you.
after that coming.
You can let us plug our shit?
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, so as Mekronium, dude, this is the shit.
It's fucking delicious.
I haven't even had this before.
I don't know what it is, but it's fucking awesome. So as far as Mekronium goes, we got jack shit going on. Hey, that is absolutely delicious.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking.
No homo.
So, yeah, if you want to come out and see us live, it's probably never going to happen again.
What is this?
You know, the country's burning. The world is burning. Everybody's dying. Everybody's fucking getting coronavirus. Everybody's dying. Apparently, the media is blowing everything up out of proportion, which means that in reality, everybody is going to hell. And
You said these were fucking plugs, Joe.
I'm plugging the
All
end of
right,
the
ladies
world.
and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Thank you for sticking around with the throne for 100 episodes. I'm eating some shit right now. Tune in next week when I interview somebody else. Thank you guys for tuning in.
And
9/11, never forget.
and to quote someone else, be kind, be nice.
And shut the fuck up.
Take that money shot, bitch.
Thank you for calling Bonefish Going West. This is Heather speaking. How may I help you?
I swear to God, you dirty slut. You hang up on me again. You tell me the name of the whore who saw my wife fall.
Listen, sir, I'm going to get my manager for you because I keep putting you on hold and you keep hanging up.
I'm bringing the cops.
I didn't see your wife fall.
Oh, fuck you, bitch.
I helped your wife. Actually, I helped your wife get up, so please do not yell at me right
Oh,
now.
you fucking bitch.
My manager.
Oh, you dirty bitch. You fucking bitch.